Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV. Sorry about earlier on. Seemed to cut out. I don't know. We glitched on both channels and it didn't work. But we're back at 2 p.m. Lots to talk on. Thomas Tuchel being sacked by Chelsea this morning. I think we need to sit and discuss. I think we need to have serious discussions about the meaning behind it. Why have they done it? Because I'm trying to, and I have been for this period, trying to build up a logical understanding of why we've let Thomas Tuchel go. What is the logical sense behind it? You know, we're going to look at the pros. I'm going to look at the cons. I'm going to talk about how I feel about the situation. Con said he's going to join us a bit later as well once he's charged up his laptop. I'm going to open the lines. We're going to get people like Couch Critic in the show today. It's going to be a real long show today. We've got lots to get into, but the lines are going to be open later on. I've got a million tabs to go through above as well with you guys. So, yeah, I want your thoughts and opinions. I want to know how you feel about the response from Todd Boehly to sacking Thomas Tuchel. Yes, you heard it. Thomas Tuchel is no more a Chelsea manager. Over 250 of you guys here already. Make sure that you're smashing them likes now. Let's get these likes over 100 likes as quickly as possible, both on GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV. And let's get into this. Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV. We have had some, what I would call, unbelievable news today. Thomas Tuchel has been sacked by Chelsea. Todd Boehly and the owners have made the decision to allow Thomas Tuchel to go. Some people were saying it's mutual. Some people were saying it's a decision made by the owners. Well, there's going to be lots to discuss, lots to delve into, lots to pick out, lots to try and understand, because there is so much to try and understand from this situation. And I am going to try, like I said, to sit here and break it down and understand it from a logical aspect. If there is a logical aspect behind why Chelsea have sacked Thomas Tuchel, I'm going to try and break it down to you guys. We're also going to talk about why it's not a logical answer, why it doesn't really work. Lots to get into, man. Lots to get into. And it's a shock. And it shocked every single Chelsea fan across it, even if you're a Thomas Tuchel outer. And there's many of them on social media. There's enough of these guys on it. There is no way in hell that we would have expected 5 games in that Thomas Tuchel would be walking, especially this early. It's crazy. I want to go through the chat before we get into things. Vinny, nice to see you, bro. Samson, nice to see you as well. Red, I can see a lot of people moving. And upset. So says, I want Luis Enrique or Zidane. Well, Graham Potter seems to be in the lead, mate. And we're going to be talking more about Graham Potter and, from what I've heard, Pochettino as the front runners of taking over Chelsea Football Club. Never going to get someone like this again, man. Well, we're going to talk about it, bro. We're definitely going to talk about it. Big up to Javanese as well. Oh, wait, nice to see you. Chelsea OG, Chelsea Database. Guys, the usual panel, we will get you in today. I want to know your thoughts and opinions later in the show as well. Andreas, nice to see you, bro. He says it's a great day in our history. What a disgrace. I have no words. Thomas Tuchel was the coach I admired, sympathized since early Mourinho days. I wish I was a City fan at the moment, is how he feels. Cyril, Serves, Mustafa, Matt, Devin. Mate, there's so many of you already. We've got Elliot. Nice to see you, bro. Hope you're well. Miles, Mustafa, Frank, Velvestran. Before our game. Gets, Miles, mate, Hassan. I saw Bex in here somewhere as well. Where is she? Bex, big up to you, Bex. Bex, Tuchel's gone. Tuchel is gone, man. Dinishan's here. Ivan Tony's in the house. Ivan Tony, mate, what are you doing? What are you doing here, mate? You should be training. Should be listening to Chelsea news. David's in the house as well. He says Tuchel was one of my favourites, and I hope Potter can transfer over his football over to us if he can. Well, that's if Potter gets picked. True Chelsea is here as well. He's another one that said that it felt funny from what he's seen in from the training ground to what he's seen in the pitch. He felt that the players had given up, in many words. I go a big up to you as well, Daniel Knight. Man, there's so many of you guys here, and it's growing for over 300 people already. But please smash the likes, Couch Critic, Jose, Concierge, man. You're all in the house. Listen, I know I've been getting a lot of DMs today saying, get on the show. But let's try and actually throw some logical sense into what's happened today. What is there any logical sense? Is there not? What can we understand from the movements and the decisions that have been made from Todd Boehly and Chelsea Football Club? What is the direction that this football club is going into? What is the direction that this football club is going into? And we're going to get into that. But the news breaking, and we're going to just bring it out from earlier on this morning because there's so much to go through. We'll start with the comments from who it came from. Was who I saw comment on it first when I find him was Ormstein. It was Ormstein. He said Chelsea have parted company with manager Thomas Tuchel. And I'll be honest, when I saw the news, I rubbed my eyes. I kept rubbing it. And I looked and I was like, nah, this is fake. This is fake. And then I didn't see this. And obviously, and I thought, well, actually, that's Ormstein's account. And then I go to the Chelsea official Twitter page. And I'm like, is this a parody account? Is someone making this up? Is this, what is this? And I have a look. And it's the official Chelsea account. And I didn't know at the time what to feel or how to feel, other than slightly disgusted, to be honest, at the beginning. I'll be honest with you. Because, and I'm going to open it up, actually. Let's open up this so-called article on the Chelsea website page talking about the sacking of Thomas Tuchel. Because it says here on behalf of everyone at Chelsea, that they've got the gratitude to Thomas Tuchel and the staff for all their efforts during their time with the club. Blah, 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 blah. Chelsea coaching staff will take charge of the team for training and preparations. There will be no further comments until. So all we know at the moment is that it's been confirmed that he's gone, and they've confirmed it officially. Todd Boehly's out wherever he is at the moment, trying to, bring in the next coach, which I feel was kind of pre-planned, and it must have been some sort of build-up. But when I saw it, I was like, how do I feel about this? What are they doing? Because since Todd Boehly's come in, he's done some great stuff. He's got rid of the original hierarchy board and made the decision to take things in himself. Peter Cech left. We got rid of Marina. Bruce Buck was taken off. Scott McLaughlin was removed. And then he gives this authority, from what we understand, authority to Thomas Tuchel on signing of players, progressing the progressing the squad, building this machine that Thomas Tuchel spoke about, which he did speak about doing. Building this machine that he said he spoke about doing back at the beginning when he first come, and quite utterly, I'll be honest with you, I just felt a little bit lost with it all. My first initial thought with it was, why? What reasons and what's happened? Now, we've seen certain performances from players that just hasn't worked. We've seen players looking a little bit uninterested, not even giving it their all. And, I thought it might have just been a system thing, maybe the confidence thing. Obviously, Mason Mount came out himself and said that he felt that the team ain't playing well enough to just lacking confidence, but they will get through it and they're backing the manager, etc., etc. And then we see Thomas Tuchel in his press conference after the game and his thoughts on how he felt about the game. And he made it clear to himself and to everyone that he felt the responsibility, that he felt that he hasn't brought the best out of the play, brought the best out of the players in recent games. The form's not working, the system's not working, and things needed to be addressed. And you're sitting and you think to yourself, or at least he's noticing that. So are we going to get a reaction? We've got Fulham on the weekend. What are we going to get? What are we going to get from Thomas Tuchel? Is it going to be a system switch? Is it going to be, what is he going to do? Is it going to be a personnel switch? Is he going to, what was he going to do? And then we get up in the morning and we hear that Todd Boehly's officially sacked him. And before I continue, Christopher obviously put a donation out here and he says, I really think that this was the right decision. Players out of position. He had the same situation at PSG and no young players improved under him. And I've heard, I'm not saying you're a Tuchel out. Thank you for the donation, but obviously that's the way you feel about it. I heard a lot of people saying that the reason Thomas Tuchel has struggled so far is because he's not really built a squad. I don't think any manager in the Premier League has been given the authority that Thomas Tuchel's been given up to this point to be able to create, control and do. But the one thing that I made very clear in a transition and a rebuild, which is why I still don't kind of understand it, is that you need to have time behind you. You're going to have moments like we are having now where things ain't working or things ain't pulling together. And I've already stressed, and again, yesterday, we've not even been able to talk about yesterday's game because of the news that happened today. I've already stressed to you guys how if he doesn't address certain, if we lose games the way that we're losing and how we're losing it, he won't last long. And there's a couple of games now where we've played and the response is limited. The response was not good enough from the team. And there's a certain way of losing. We're going to lose games. I've always expected us to have moments and whatever, but it's how you lose games. And the way we lost games recently, I felt the players just lacked the confidence, the drive, the know to work hard for the team, to make things happen, to, at least try for that fucking badge that I keep saying. Show us something. And they didn't. And I saw Thomas Tuchel sitting on the bench very quiet. And one of the things that I noticed in his earlier periods at Chelsea was that he was very vocal. He's always been a vocal coach. He's always, coach is the word. He's always coached. He's always stood up and he's always pointing left, right, this, that, and the other. Get there, get this, get that. And the last game, specifically yesterday's game, I saw a manager sitting on the bench, not knowing what to do or where to go or how to react or even just coach. He just looked disgusted. He just looked as if he was maybe thrown under the bus to a degree. Or is this a build-up? And this is why I'm saying, trying to dig into it and, try and understand it. Because maybe there was some problems off the pitch with certain personnel again. We're going to go through some of the tabs. Apparently there was problems with the hierarchy and Thomas Tuchel, the new owners and Thomas Tuchel, about decisions made in the transfer window for certain players, i.e. Ronaldo, who were being told Bowley wanted. Tuchel didn't. And he explained why he didn't. And there was a disagreement. So there was a slight disagreement in terms of personnel being signed, is what we're being told. It's a real weird one. I mean, I know we've got some more super chats coming in. See, Chelsea OG says, everyone's morning was shaken up. Social media's going crazy. It was, mate. Big up to you, man. Thank you for the donation. Hassan says, same BS ball. Signing no time circus continues, is what he's saying there. Thank you for the donation, bro. It is. And when you look at how cutthroat, and the thing that surprises me the most with this all is how cutthroat the decision was made to get rid of him. Let's think of it logically right now, right? Try and think of it logically. You give him 250 million to go out and bring in certain players. We all knew that we didn't address the full areas that we needed to address within this team. We knew that was the case. Yeah, we was going into a season in many regions for me where we were not fully strengthened. There was areas that we were having to accommodate because we just couldn't accommodate the areas in the window. Maybe it was against the time. Maybe it was the way of how long we took in with the centre-backs, whatever it was. But we all knew that this squad had deficiencies. And we understood it. And we knew that there was a progression and there needed to be a progression at later stages. So you give him that money. He brings players in that specifically, he wanted to bring in. He's got Aubameyang here, who's probably came to Chelsea because of Thomas Tuchel and has played one game with Thomas Tuchel before he got sacked and has been sacked. And then you make a decision, and I don't know how they made it. Apparently, they 10 minutes discussion with him where they said to him, "Look, we're going to let you go. We're not seeing the vision. We're not seeing, the way forward already in 5 games." And they made the decision to cut it. And it's a weird one for me. I can't really make sense of it because I'm trying to understand the logical side of it. What are the reasons? Why would they make such a cutthroat decision so early when giving the backing to this manager that they have been doing? They've been giving the backing to then cut him after 5 games. I just feel it's such an early call and a decision made too early. A decision that I feel was made a little bit too early, if you were to ask me. Now, what is the logical sense in it? Do they feel that maybe Thomas Tuchel isn't the right man to go forward? Do they feel the progression is not happening because, like people were saying, he's playing players out of position, which means the players are now unhappy with the manager, and it's disrupting the squad? I think it was all too early. I think the squad needed time. And I just don't feel that 5 games in, that player power is the reason why all of a sudden Thomas Tuchel's kicked out the door 5 games in. I don't get it to a degree. I don't. You know, I needed to see more, at least giving him more time to try and react, have a response, try and do something. You know, maybe switch the system, play players in certain positions that they want to be played in, maybe. That may have been the decision he made. But he didn't get the opportunity to do that. And when we look at some of the tweets that I've been reading, and we've got one here that says, the atmosphere at Chelsea training ground has been described as tense. A group of players felt they had been treated unfairly, both in terms of team selections, positions asked to play. By Thomas Tuchel. That was via Matt Law. You know, I said, does player power come into this? And they may be slightly upset being forced to play in a position for a reason. I get that. I don't get, you know. But again, is it enough to get him sacked? I think there's more to this. I don't think this is just player power, which it has been in the past. I think that Todd Boehly and Egbali have made the decision early because their investment, or what they've invested into this football club in the summer window, they feel may not honour certain targets being Champions Leagues. I think they've made, and again, I don't agree with it, but they've maybe feel that the sooner they make a decision based on what they've seen on getting rid of him, maybe they feel that they can attract a specific target. And, you know, a specific target maybe being someone that they've maybe spoken to prior. Because when you look at the managers that Chelsea are linked to at the moment and how quickly things have moved with Graham Potter, with Pochettino, with apparently it being done today, that tells me that there must have been some sort of disruptions along the way. And yeah, the players might have a part to it. Let me tell you something now. It doesn't matter what manager you bring into this football club, they are going to have the same problem with players. Why? Because number one, they're going to inherit a squad that is not theirs again, which means that in January, Todd Boehly and Egbali and summer, you are going to have to start reinvesting and getting rid of certain personnel that Graham Potter may not want or will want in the window, because he will want his own philosophy on the players, which he, again, may not be able to do because of certain crop of players that we already have. Maybe he feels he can't achieve it. He will want money, which then falls again with Thomas Tuchel, because even though he was given money and he's been given players to add to the squad, you know, is it enough? And we know it's not enough. And of course, we're all going to have these moments. So bringing in Graham Potter, for example, who, all right, plays this sexy, attractive football that everyone likes to, you know, likes to see, you're still going to have to back him. You're still going to have to give him something. You know, you want some sort of progression in what you're seeing straight away, immediate. You probably want us to be challenging or, you know, winning trophies and doing this, that, and the other. But time is key. And if you don't give managers time, we're just still going to live how we have lived under the Roman era. And yes, we were successful. And maybe it's the same attitude that Boehly and Egbali want to have. Maybe it's not. But in terms of the decision that has been made by them so early, 5 games in to a season, based on the back of a summer window of players that were given to this manager, is a massive statement and decision. It's huge. It's huge. I don't want to miss anyone's chats. Sorry, I'm probably going through. I know there's over nearly 700 people in Chelsea Fan TV. Guys, get these likes up. We will be opening up the line soon. Same with GNA TV. Nearly 200 of you guys here as well. Can we get these likes up? Let's get these likes up, guys. Let's try and get through these likes. We are going to open up the lines, but again, like I said, I've got so much to try and get through, so I want to try and fly through it. Why I'm trying to break it down with you guys as well. So for me, where is the logical sense in it? Because all I can see is the unlogical side of it. But now the problem that we have now, well, not say problem, now the thing that Todd Boehly and Egbali have to do now to show us as Chelsea fans is what is the future? What is the image? What is the vision? What is the vision that you guys want? What is the structure? Because we haven't got a DLF. You know, you still need to sort the head of recruitment out. We've now not got no manager. You know, like, where are we going with this? What is it that you want? What is the structure? What is the philosophy? Because you've got rid of a manager that supposedly we were being told they were going to back and give time to and give him players and this, that, and the other, to this 5 games in. So where are we going, Chelsea Football Club? Bowley, Egbali, where are you taking Chelsea? All good and merry getting rid of him now, and it's all done. We can't do fuck all about it. Your decisions have made. But now you need to show us what it is and where we're going. Because like I keep saying to you, whoever you bring in now, it's going to want time. It's going to want time. It's going to want money. It's going to have moments where they lose games and have a little bit of a crisis. I don't even call it a crisis, a mini moment, because it wasn't even a crisis to me. It was a mini moment of poor form, which even still, we were 4 points behind Man City in the Premier League. You have these moments. Chelsea have sacked Thomas Tuchel. He's informed this morning the decision is not only down to mixed results or reactions to the poor Dinamo loss alone, it's a part of a wider summer strategic change too. The new American owners had every intention of sticking with Thomas Tuchel when they first joined, and by spending 270 million, they backed him with a record spend. Yes, they did, and we can all agree as Chelsea fans that they backed him. But there was doubts and eventually friction over how he handled the ownership transition. There were doubts and eventually friction over how he handled the ownership transition. What do you mean by that? 2 seconds, guys. I'm missing super chats here as well. Let's go to Jack Dean quickly with the super chat. Big up to you, man. He says, no manager available can come and do a better job. And that's the big thing, isn't it? Who's going to come in and provide a better job? Or who's going to take us to the next level that they have, that their vision is of where they want to go or what they want to do without time? Because everyone's going to need time. and that's the mad thing about it. They need time. Thomas Tuchel needs time. Graham Potter needs time. Pochettino is going to need time. You're going to give these managers players that maybe they didn't even want. They might have not even wanted the ones that Thomas Tuchel bought. They might have not wanted Fofana. They might have not wanted Sterling. They might have not wanted Koulibaly. do you know what I mean? Like, vision. This is the thing. It's seeing the vision that, of where they're trying to go with this. RIP top 4 is what Stone is saying as well. Let's continue with this Ben Jacobs comments. Tuchel was given more responsibility and ultimate authority. To some degree, every manager wants this, but with Bowley as an interim sport director, Tuchel's role became a pivotal. Bowley and Tuchel were in daily contact, often for hours. There was a constant stream of calls. Tuchel became frustrated during the window, and communication broke down at right times with Tuchel's input was needed the most. This was pretty apparent at time in America. Tuchel became frustrated during the window, and communication broke down at times right when Tuchel's input was needed the most. Again, was he frustrated on how long we were taking to get things done? Maybe the profile of players that we were targeting. Tuchel wanted to focus on football. New owners, on the other hand, felt that he could have done more to aid the transfers. This was very obvious during parts of the failed chase for Rafinha, Koundé. Xavi was far more part of the pitch. They feel that he could have maybe picked up the phone, called the players, done more in the window. What are they asking for him to do here? Are they asking him to become a DOF along with coach? Are they trying to give him too much responsibility and he's just not used to it? I don't know. Maybe he's not used to the negotiation side of things. He probably isn't used to the negotiation side of things. How is he going to expect to pick up, to negotiate deals more often and talk to agents and maybe do all the things that maybe they're asking him to do? Xavi was far more involved. You're right, with Xavi and Jules, with Rafinha and Jules Koundé, but that's because he picked up the phone to him. And I'm pretty sure Thomas Tuchel has picked up the phone and tried to bring him across or give him the idea or the vision. So what more was it? The Romelu Lukaku exit didn't influence much, although he was a flank with Bowley before he left. But it started a trend of Bowley talking directly and openly to players, including Aspie, Silva and Reece James. In the end, there was a feeling, even before the indifferent results, that a new manager might be better for a new era. This is also in part because the Abramovich tenure was atypical and atypical in many ways. It might be easier with a new boss. Tuchel was obviously hugely respected, but told the new owners wanted a manager who is both a fit the team and business, with the latter so different to the old regime. Great. So they want a manager that not only coaches, but also he's got the business side to him. Which means what? What is it that you want him to do? You want him to pick up the phone? Do you want him to become a DOF, negotiate, have a strategy in place? Do you want him to create a project or a philosophy for the next 4 or 5 years, or a structure, shall I say, or in the next 4 or 5 years of the profile of players that we should be looking at? Like, what is it that you're asking a manager to do when the most important thing a manager really should be doing is coaching on the pitch? So these are ultimately all the decisions that brought Todd Bowley into not wanting him here. Not only with some of the losses off the pitch, on the pitch, sorry, but off the pitch, because he wasn't business wise. He didn't have that business brain. You know, we're being told that he was very close to Marina and the old guard. You know, and he still was very close to the old guard, and they didn't like it. What does that mean? What, he wasn't close to them? Like, you know, there's just more to it, is what I'm saying. It's just there's a load more to it, and you're going to see loads of stuff in the you're going to see loads of different articles trying to explain what they think it is or what they've been told, this, that, and the other. I read one from Mirror Football earlier on Twitter. I just scrapped it. It was so dumb. I was like, yeah, bollocks. That ain't true, because people are going to make things up now. Of course they are. Dinishan, did I miss your... Did you put in a super chat, mate? Did you put in a super chat earlier? I've got so many... There's one from Jack. I thought Dinishan put in a super chat. Maybe you didn't, mate. Maybe you didn't. Oh, you did. Sorry, mate. You did. Here it is. You did. You did. Sorry for missing that earlier. Dinishan with the donations. Tuchel refusing CR7 and other players made the owners fall out of him. Other players made the owners fall out of him. They just wanted the right moment to sack him. The players add fuel to the fire. The players have also probably added to it. The ones that are maybe not happy because they're not playing or being played in certain positions that they don't want to or don't feel the game time. But again, for me, it's very easy to pick apart who them players are. We could probably see it on the pitch, who they are. I could. And that was always going to be an issue because we didn't get rid of players that didn't want to be there. Ziyech, Pulisic in his actions recently. You know, there's probably more to the story with some other players. I don't think it was a load of players, though. I think there was probably in some individual players that would be pissed off. But you're going to have this problem everywhere you go, you know. We've got another tweet here from Daily saying, and this is what they're saying, 250 million and you sack him after a week after the transfer window. Whether you thought he should be on thin ice or not, what is this all about? Something that has gone off behind the scenes. And that's the only way I can see why. But even then, and I think this is the thing, it's trying to put some logical understanding to it, because we're being told that it's not even just on the pitch. So it's not the fact that the players are maybe, you know, they're not playing well. We've lost we've lost 3 games already, and some may not be happy. It's off the pitch and the relationship between him and Bowley, which I thought was fine, unbelievable. I thought he was backing him. I thought they were like brothers, blood brothers in many ways. The fact that they're giving him so much responsibility, you know, you would assume that, you know, it's partly because they trust him, because they look at this manager and they want to go forward with him, because they can see that he is a coach, because he's someone that they feel that they can progress with, and probably ultimately the best option we have at the moment when you look at the current manager market of managers that are available. And this is all going to fall down to preference on what manager do you want? Who could we have? You know, who could we have? But, you know, I am struggling to logically understand Bowley and Iqbali's decision now to do it so quickly. Chelsea's owners believe Thomas Tuchel seemed to lack the emotional intelligence to deal with the transition to the new ownership, after building such a strong bond with those who had departed. So now we're being told a part of it is because he had an emotional connection to the old guard, which didn't help. Chelsea owners wanted to work with Thomas Tuchel, but did not sense the same investment from him. So now we're being told that he maybe wasn't happy with decisions made with with the previous old guard. Maybe the fact that Bowley decided to take on everything, maybe Thomas Tuchel wasn't happy with. Maybe the responsibility given to Tuchel to become the key negotiator that we thought may be a good thing for him, something that he would be interested in. Maybe he didn't want that. Maybe he didn't want that. Maybe Bowley and Egbali just looked at that and thought, well, we're not getting him on side. He's not taking on board the areas that we are asking him to take on. He's not getting anything from the players on the pitch because they're not performing. Some players are moaning because we know that Egbali and Todd Bowley go to games, assuming they speak to players quite often, the disruptions, and probably spoken to him about the disruptions. Some people saying Tuchel had to go, bro. Did he now? Really? And my thing is, and I keep saying it, I know you said here, QNTV, Tuchel had to go. Tuchel had to go. Fine. Tuchel had to go. But who for? Who for? Who's next? And what is the vision with this manager? Because again, like I keep saying, these managers are going to need time. It's the same bullshit. We're going to have the same thing. They might play better football. You'll get a player bounce. We'll start winning games. We'll do that. Because that's what happens when you sack managers, guys. You get a player bounce. Maybe from certain players. Not all. System changes. We start doing things well. Then eventually we might start losing games. Why? And I keep saying it. Because we're in a transition period. This squad, for me, is not complete. Should be getting Champions League football, but shouldn't be asked to challenge for titles. Not yet. Not in my opinion. We lack squad depth. We lack quality in certain positions. We have no creativity in the midfield. We have no creativity in the forward line. The game yesterday was a massive example of it. And actually yesterday, more of the worst of things from what I saw yesterday was that we didn't even, when we had the chances in front of goal, instead of shooting, we decided to just pass. There was just moments that players just made, which is on them for me. Aubameyang, Sterling, in front of goal, passing it, shoot. These are moments that players have to take on to themselves and look at themselves. And it might have gone, listen, call it time ago what you want. That's fine. But where we stood with these new owners was, how are we going to move forward? What is the structure? Where are we going with this moving forward? Are we going to be the old guard? Are we going to be the Roman era? Are we going to be cutthroat? Are we going to, cut managers when we ain't win things and bring in new managers? Are we going to have the same vicious cycle that we have had? That we have had and seen for a very long time. Is that the vision that Bowley and Egbali want? Do they want to follow the Roman way? Spend money, buy players, bring in coaches, give them targets that they want achieved, and if it don't work, make cutthroat decisions like we're seeing now and just bin people. Is that how we're going to be? Is that the new Chelsea? Sorry, not the new Chelsea. Is that the same Chelsea that has been for the last 20 years? To be honest, we were getting better or worse. But we're going to get into that because that's a good question. Kazim saying he's average. Jim, do you want Poch, Zidane or Potter? I don't pull to Poch. I'm not a big fan of it. I'm not looking at Poch and going, yay, I want Poch. Zidane, I don't think it's going to happen. He wants the France team. I don't think he would come to Chelsea. I think Potter might happen. I rate Potter. I think he's actually a good manager. But no track record, no real track record. And when you look at him for Brighton, he plays players out of position. Yeah, he plays attractive football. But he's going to need time. He's not a manager that's going to come in and bring ultimate success for me straight away. I might be wrong. And he might do it. He might do it. Don't get me wrong. But I think he's going to need time. I don't think it's something that happens overnight. I'm not a fan of Poch. I'm just not a fan of it. You know, if I had to choose out of the three, it'd be Grandpa. Yeah, cool. 35 minutes in, I need to hurry up, and I've still got so many things to go through it. What's this? Oh, yeah, this is the one I want to get to. So, Tuchel's record for Chelsea. So, yesterday was his 100th game as a Chelsea manager. In 100 games, he had 60 wins. All right? He had 60 wins in 100 games. He had 24 draws, 16 losses, and he scored 168 goals with 77 conceded. So he won 60 of his 100 games, which I think is great. He drew 24, which is basically a quarter of his 100 games, and only lost 16. And we've lost 3 or 4 of these games. We've lost 3 or 4 of these games as of recent. So in theory, it was only, 11, 10 games that we lost prior to this season under this manager. We scored 168 goals, but we conceded 77, which again would have been a lot less after this season that we've been in because, you know, we've been disrupted. It's not worked. That is not a bad record. That record doesn't scream to me sell. You know, that record there doesn't scream to me sell or to get rid of the manager. Now, 100 games, 60 wins, 24 draws, 16 losses. You know, yeah, he was having a moment. I agree. And that moment may have never got better. That moment may have never got better. I understand that. I get it. But more time had to be given to this manager. We had to. To make this decision now is cutthroat. And they've made that decision. Cool. That's on them. So now I want to see the vision. I want to see the type of manager they bring in, number one. And number two, what the plan is for this manager moving forward, because he's going to need time. He's going to need a lot. I think he's going to need a good another 2 seasons, because he's going to have to want to put his own intake on in the transfer market, you know? What are people saying here? Alpha says the best managers tailor their systems to their players. We can't keep blaming players who aren't being put in positions to succeed. We regressed. I disagree, to be honest. I disagree and I agree to a degree. Because what I watched yesterday was us not even doing basics on the pitch. I'm talking about taking shots when you're in front of goal. I'm talking about last week when Tuchel was screaming at Conor Gallagher to move the ball quicker forward, which I'm assuming they were doing in training, but he wouldn't do it. These are all basic things. And sometimes it falls to the profile of player. And the problem with it is we're asking profile of players to play positions that maybe they don't want to play. I agree. 8s playing 6s. I agree with that. That's a problem. That is a problem. You know, but you can't talk about formations to me, because we played 4s. We played 3s. What more did you want him to do? You want to play 4-2-3-1s or 4-3-3s without the right profile of players to play it or do it to achieve it. You know, he brought in versatile players that are adaptive to the system. The problem was it just wasn't enough. That's the problem. The problem to me was that it just wasn't enough at this moment in time. And we were going to have these moments. And yeah, it's not good. And I agree, the way we're losing is not the way we should be losing games. I agree. And it was a problem. And it was becoming a minor problem to me. But eventually, after his comments yesterday, maybe a reaction from him, a different reaction, I don't know. But at least time would have been given to have seen that. Not 5 games into a season to then get rid. Fell out with owners and players. What do you expect? Yeah, true. Part of it. Royal Blue says, we got to stop sacking managers and change the entire squad every other year. We need players to step up there. And it's true. Players have to take responsibility. But the truth behind why managers go before players is just because it's cheaper and easier. And it will stay like that. Because you can't force 2 or 3 or 4 players out the door for one manager. It doesn't work. Or the managers don't play them, because all they do is disrupt the squad. and your depth's weak, because when you ask them to come on like we did with Ziyech yesterday and perform in the game, they shit on you. And Ziyech was shit yesterday. Pulisic was shit. We threw everything at yesterday. We played every single forward we had on the bench, and we still couldn't score. We still couldn't score. We still couldn't score, man. Did I miss another super chat? I'm just trying to think. Did I miss another super chat? No, I didn't. All right, cool. You know, it's, you know, over 1,400 of you guys here, guys. 251 on GNA TV, 1,094. 1,100 people on Chelsea Fan TV. Guys, let's get this up to 300 likes, please, on Chelsea Fan TV. Smash the like button now. Lines are going to be open very shortly for you guys as well. GNA TV, let's get these likes over 100, please, guys. There's over 200 of you guys here, 75 likes. Get this over 1,000. Get this over 1,000. Get this over 100 likes, please, and then we'll work our way to 200. Let's do that. What else have I got to go through? Now, this is some of the things I was reading, actually. This is another thing that's quite... So... And I don't believe this. Tuchel's ideas were no longer transmitting. He'd stopped getting through. It probably didn't help that some of the players had been talking about his private life and how he had a young girlfriend as his marriage fell apart. It might be trivial, but it played into how the perception of him transformed. He was no longer the... What's that even mean? Tuchel's idea was no longer transmitting. He stopped getting through. It probably didn't help that some of the players had been talking about his private life and how he had a younger girlfriend. What's that got to do with football? It doesn't matter if he's got a younger girlfriend. What's that got to do with anything? Why are the players going to care about that? What's that got to do with anything? That makes no sense to me. You know, I get the bit at the beginning that they may have lost faith in where Tuchel was going with things in this system. Maybe they felt it just wasn't working, or they couldn't achieve it. Or maybe they just felt that they didn't have the players to do it, or the player to play it. Maybe that makes sense, but the other part don't. You know, the other part doesn't make any sense. You know, the other part don't make any sense. We've got another donation here, haven't we? Let's have a look. Alfred. He says, Tuchel was throwing players under the bus this before the international break. You can't keep doing that, except them to die for you. Again, you know, yeah, he commented on certain individuals about the way they were performing. I get that, you know, but at the end of the day, you know, some of these players have to be held accountable for their performances. And let's be serious, their performances weren't good enough. Just weren't good enough. You know, I don't think they all feel that they were good enough. You know, and maybe he got to the point where he had enough of sitting there reverting away from defending these, defending these players. Maybe he felt, well, actually, they need to take responsibility because even their performance has been shit. We can't sit here as Chelsea fans and say that the reason these players are have been so poo is because of Thomas Tuchel. I'm sorry. These players have to be accountable for their own actions. And their actions have stank. Their actions have stank from what we've seen up to this point. And I expected more. I expect more. The car coming back next season. Let's not even get into that. You know, we can't, you know, it goes both ways. It really does. Matt Law brought out an article as well. And I won't go through it because there's loads to get into it. But he basically says Thomas Tuchel sat by Chelsea. Graham Potter, the early favourite to replace him. That could be done as earlier today. And then it also goes on to say here that why Chelsea's new owners sacked Thomas Tuchel. Results and performances not just to blame. Tension since tour and communication dried up. Players unhappy with decisions. Desires for long-term head approach. The need to buy into the new culture. So let's go through this. Results and performances not just to blame. So, okay, so it's not on the pitch. That was the reason. It wasn't just to blame. They weren't happy with it, but 5 games in, they'd probably take it as, you know, not just the only thing. Tension since the tour and communication dried up. Tension since the tour. So that falling into business. Maybe the decision to get more involved in Rafinha and Koundé, he didn't do that. Why? Because he's a coach. Maybe he just didn't feel... Maybe he just couldn't do it. Maybe he just felt the role shouldn't have been on him to do. Maybe he wanted to concentrate more on the players and just give an idea of what he wanted in terms of player profile and allow the the business people to do the job. Players aren't happy with decisions to be where they were being played. We always have problems with players. They're always unhappy. You bring Graham Potter in, he's going to make players unhappy because they're not going to play. We have the same fucking bullshit. I'm telling you. Desire for a long-term head coach. You had one. Or you could have at least given this one a bit more time, especially after backing it. And you didn't. Now I want to know what your vision is. You want to be cutthroat, Bowley, and do this, cool. But let's see the real vision. I want to know where we're going next. And I hope it's an improvement. It has to be an improvement. I need to see an improvement now. Pressure's on. All these big decisions that are made. The need to buy into the new culture. I don't know what the new culture is. And we're waiting to see what the new culture is at Chelsea. What are the ideas? You know, what were the real ideas behind it? Am I missing super chats again? I am, and I. Alpha says the players were not shooting were Thomas Tuchel's versatile additions. We have no patterns of play and attack, and historically had issues with the man management. When Alpha, in that first half of yesterday, if the players had just taken their chances in the first 20 minutes, it would have been 1 or 2 up, mate. Let's be serious. Let's be serious. Yeah, I agree. Maybe they're not all happy with the way that we're playing or feel that they're playing in the best position for them to a degree. Maybe that might be right with some players. You know, and the patterns of play may be slow. Fair enough. But now, like I keep saying, Tuchel's gone. I need to see a manager that's going to bring these patterns of plays that people are saying and play these players where they're happy. And I want to see this response. I want to see the players that we're supposedly saying are being who we are protecting and saying that, you know, it's not them to a degree. I'm not saying that, but from what I'm hearing, it's like, well, Thomas Tuchel needs to go because the players, he wasn't playing to the players' strengths and he was reluctant to his systems. Yeah, fine. He wanted to play hybrid systems, 4s and 3s, and I think he did. I just don't still feel that he had the full personnel to do it. We don't have that creative spark. We still don't have that creative spark. You want to play 4-2-3-1. Providing Zakaria works, then we might be able to do that. But if Zakaria don't work, don't think our midfield's going to be looking pretty anytime soon with Jorginho in it and playing every game. Or Ruben, because he's not a 6. So then what? Because Ruben is going to be played in a 6 again, and that's not his position. So this is my point. I understand that there's areas that we need to improve. I get that. I understand that players are unhappy. But I understand ultimately that time had to be given. We knew that we were weak in certain areas and creativity was an issue. We didn't get players in for the creative element to it, to have these patterns of play, to see what it is that Thomas Tuchel wanted to do. Yeah, he brought good players in and they added and they contributed, to maybe, or I think, or aid what he wants to try and do. But it still isn't enough, especially from the forward line. Sterling was never enough. Aubameyang's just come through the door. And I'm not relying on Aubameyang, like I said to you guys, because I've always been sitting on the fence. Shrinav, big up to you, big up, mate. Thanks to Gather for the UCL Club World Cup loyalty during sanctions, transitions, and injuries. He helped in players' exodus going back 6 years. Listen, Thomas Tuchel stuck with Chelsea for a very hard period in our football history. A very hard period in our football history. You know, he's going through one bit of a moment in this beginning of the season. Maybe ultimately wanted the same backing back by the new owners, and he didn't get it. And they made the decision to cut him off. You know, through these sanctions, he was there. He was the forefront. He was talking about driving coaches if we didn't have the money, and paying for it and taking the players and driving it himself to matches. Now, he loved this football club. He did. There's not one person that can tell me that Thomas Tuchel didn't care about Chelsea or was happy with the performances that we've been recently seeing. I don't agree with that. I don't. But he has gone. And it's the truth. He's gone. The decision's been made. So Potter will leave Brighton whilst in 4th. Don't see it, is what Calidrox is saying. Yeah, but it's going to be interesting, isn't it? If we do get it done today, whether it's him or Poch. But let's see what happens with that. All right, so we know that Graham Potter's an option. I'm going to open up the lines in about 5 minutes, right? We'll get all you guys in and allow you guys the opportunity to get involved, all right? We're being told that Let's have a quick look. What have I got here? Let's get rid of this. We don't need that. I'm not getting into that. That Graham Potter is the man to be lined up to come to Chelsea. Contracts ongoing between Chelsea and Brighton for Graham Potter. He's the priority option. Potter has been proposed to Tomboli and is an available option in the 4 names listed, is what we've got there. So today it's been limited to 2 targets. The secret scout has come out and announced that Chelsea owners aiming today to have a deal wrapped up for Potter and his coaching staff to be in place for Fulham. So this is something that they're working towards now. And Graham Potter, even though Pochettino is at the forefront, Graham Potter seems to be, mate, I think Thomas Tuchel is the worst decision your board has made. I mean, no one wins UCL by luck, mate. I agree with that. We actually played well in the UCL under Tuchel, to be honest. Chelsea owners aiming today to have a deal wrapped up for Potter is what the secret scout's saying in place of the Fulham game, which I've already said. And then we went on to quickly the Ornstein comment. And this is where we're at now. This is where we all stand at the moment. Chelsea have made approaches to Graham Potter plus Pochettino. High among managing options. CFC owners very fond of Potter plus no clause. Plus no the clause. So can be done swiftly if job offered and he agrees. Pochettino would be similarly quick as well. I don't want Pochettino. I'm telling you now. I am not a big fan of this Pochettino thing. One bit. I'll take on Graham Potter. It is what it is. I think he's a good manager. He's going to need time. I keep saying it, stressing it. It doesn't matter who we bring in now. They're going to need even more time or be given the opportunity. We also have this from Ben Jacobs as well, who says Chelsea's 2 front runners to replace Thomas Tuchel are Potter and Pochettino. Potter is currently priority and Brighton won't stand in his way. But Pochettino is highly respected by many on the Chelsea board. Club won't want to talk to both before any final decision. Zidane has also been touted, but no approach has been made yet. The same could be said about Brendan Rodgers. To forget about Brendan Rodgers, we do not need that. Chelsea want to look at multiple candidates, but there are 2 clear targets. 2 key targets being Pochettino and Potter as well. We also had this from CFC Pies as well, who commented saying that Bowley was looking at Erling Haaland at Man City and what Liverpool have been doing and felt Chelsea were slipping further behind. Potter will be given money in the January window and a long contract. So this new manager thing, before we open up the lines, right? Whoever this new manager is that's coming in needs to accept the responsibility, not only coaching on the pitch, but making the decisions on profile players, which I think most managers will want. But by the sounds of what I've read all the way through this point, they want a manager that has a bit of a business mind, that can get involved in negotiations, that can aid and help Todd Bowley and Egbali in maybe bringing players across the line. Why we haven't got a DOF. And even when we have a DOF, which is their responsibility to start doing, and maybe we get ahead of recruitment in as well, yeah, maybe there will be more of a business responsibility on our coaches once they come in that the owners want. I don't think managers will want that. I think managers will want to be managers and coach teams. I think that's what they'll want to do. You know, it hasn't worked for Thomas Tuchel. Part of it maybe being that. We haven't been told the full truth yet, but we've read bits up to this point. Chelsea ownership didn't feel Tuchel was animated enough over the new signings. The understanding was that not many of them were his signings, and it was more a broader approach, bringing players through that could be improved long term with good coaching. I don't even know what to say to that. So now we've gone through a summer window of bringing in players supposedly that Thomas Tuchel might actually not want. Or not have not wanted, but what they wanted was them to be coached and brought through. That even makes sense. You're Todd Bowley, the new Chelsea owner. I'm going to ask you guys this question right now. I wonder if I can do this actually. I'm going to do a poll quickly, and I'm going to put the link in the chat in the meantime. The lines are now open. The lines are now open. Make sure we're smashing the likes though, guys. Let's get these likes up. GNA TV, man. We've got to get this over 100 likes, guys. Come on. 96 likes. Chelsea Fan TV is over 1,000 of you guys there. 277 likes. You've got the opportunity to come in and have your say now as well. So if you're free and you'd like to come in, please do so. Please do so. Oh, what am I doing there? I was meant to send this link to Couch. I forgot. I've been so... Wow, we've got a panel here, all smiling, looking at me and like getting ready to crack on with this. Kylie's here. Jay, oh my God, the panel is here. True Chelsea. I was meant to send the Chelsea database. Believe it, now everyone's in here today. Everyone wants blood. Everyone wants the blood, man. All right, let's do this. Get these lights up for the panel. Let's get these likes up for the panel. Come on, guys. We've got a great panel as well. Just keep smashing it. Keep smashing it. Over 1,000 people on Chelsea Fan TV at the moment. Let's get on with this. Let's go. Zach is here.
Hello.
Is here. CFC OG is here. Jay's here. Callie's here.
Hello.
Chelsea Database is here. True Chelsea is here. The Circus Continues is here.
Hello, guys.
Finishing is here.
Fellas.
I didn't want to look at me like that. Wait a second. What am I
Fellas,
enough of looking at me
fellas.
for the last hour. So, right, this is how we're going to do this before everyone starts talking, because there's a lot of people here right now. Everyone's going to want to get involved, all right? This is going to be a interesting discussion.
I'm dead calling dibs. I've never called dibs in a space in my life. Like, I'm being dead serious.
All right, let's go to. We're going to go all the way around. All right, so everyone can have their moment. All right, let's let everyone have their first original thoughts.
Man.
I want to know everyone's first. I'm going to ask this question. It's going to be one question to all of you, and I want you all to answer it. What was your original thoughts this morning when you heard the news that Thomas Tuchel had been sacked by Chelsea? And I'm going to start with Zach, and we're going to work our way around. Go on, Zach.
I tried seeing if I was still asleep or something. I thought I was dreaming. I really didn't not expect this at all. Like, I saw it going this way maybe after like a few months of this, but no way I thought they would do it this quickly. But it looks like they've had this in the back of their minds for a while.
Okay, fair enough. Kazim,
How are you, mate? You good?
Yeah, all good.
I'm good, man. I'm good.
I see.
Yeah, man.
Go on, mate.
Come on, Jimmy. You know me for a long time now, bro. I called that a while ago, mate. I said he had to go that while ago, but I said I give him this year. I said if he didn't close the gap to City, he's got to go for me. I'm so consistent. I've been saying it for after he didn't fight for Rudiger. So I thought he's a yes man. He's not Conte or Mourinho, Pep Guardiola club type. And Chelsea weren't knowing about this, man. We need a bad boy over there to win us things. And I don't think Tuchel was that. I think winning the Champions League was paper over the crack. I think tactically it wasn't great. I think I was right, man. I'm not surprised.
I want to really get into your reasons why you think he should have been sacked, but I'm going to come back to you in a second, yeah? Because I do want to know why you felt it should have happened, and we'll get to it in a bit. But CFC OG, what's your thoughts, mate? How you doing? Are you muted, mate? CFC OG?
OG,
Yeah.
now you're muted.
Bro, I was in shock. Like, I was in shock straight away. I got the information. Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah. You're just lagging.
Yeah.
You're lagging. You're lagging badly. You're lagging. You're going to have to come back in, OG. You have to come back in. Let's go to Jay. Jay, what are you saying?
Wow.
You know what, yeah, I'm going to be honest. After yesterday's performance, it really helped me zoom out, because I was afraid that this was going to happen after last night's game. I genuinely was. I had to zoom out for a minute. I was like, oh, hold up. What do they have to go off here? Like, what do they really... Because we have to understand, we can scream 5 games, 6 games, but it is a lot deeper than that. You can't expect the owners to look at it as, oh, it's just 5 games from when we came in. They are assessing his whole time here. They will look back past themselves. And I don't believe new owners makes Tuchel any better or any worse of a manager. And I was the one saying, give my man time. I was the one getting on people saying that Tuchel out is pointless. He's not going anywhere. I was so adamant this guy's staying. But even so, when I look at him gone now, I'm like, no. This is not just a blip of poor form. We've been seeing the same trends since damn near March. This has been going on for a minute. This isn't new news. There's a lot of trends that hasn't necessarily been worked out of the team. And you see how, for me, I wouldn't even go too much into it. I'm not even going to go. I'm going to save it for later. But I have a lot of things for me. Looking back at it now, I was naive to it. And my love for Thomas Tuchel,
yeah,
I can't let that blind me to the problems I now see. I see where I was wrong in a lot of my opinions, and a lot of Chelsea fans need to look at it and be like, maybe, just maybe, this has more reason than we're giving it. Don't let it's American owners and they're dumb be our scapegoat to give Thomas Tuchel less blame than he actually deserves.
No, I think it's not only on the pitch. Obviously, you can tell there's an issue with some players. I knew that. I could see that from yesterday, that some players went. That was what stood out for me. But the whole thing of over the transfer window and him not getting involved as much. Maybe they wanted him to have more responsibility. He didn't do that. I think it's just a big build up of it all, to be honest. And I think that enough was enough for them. But will we find out the real reason? I hope we do. Probably. We'll have to wait and see.
Can I say one thing before you go on real quick as well?
Go on.
To say this. Yeah.
Jay, 1 second. Yeah, we can hear you. Let people talking on. Yeah. Go on,
I'm
Jay.
gonna be honest, and I have one thing to say as well. That's a big thing. People are saying, all this responsibility. You have to understand. If the ownership decided to sit back, waste time, not going for transfers, which by the bowling group has already been slated by a couple of Chelsea fans, a large majority of the fan base, for how slow they think Chelsea have been in certain transfers. Do you think it would have been any faster if we sat back and not focused on transfers and gave Bowley another job to find a DOF and rush that to bring in a DOF in then before so Thomas Tuchel can focus on coaching? I feel like...
Which is exactly what we're going to do now. We're going to rush the DOF.
And this is what I'm saying. There's no upside. Like, Thomas Tuchel, in that moment, that's the job he had to take on. He had to step up to that challenge. He had to do it. So for him to step away from it, to me, shows that
I don't think it's a step away.
You can't shrug off responsibility like that.
Yeah, but you're also asking someone who's a coach to do things maybe they're not immune or used to. Like it's
positive to the owners going and doing what they had to do. There's no positive for the owners to have turned around and said, you know what, Thomas Tuchel, do your job, man. Just coach. We'll find a DOF, sort out all the stuff that we have to do, moving into these new offices that we haven't even been in for majority of the summer so far. But we'll find a new DOF. We'll also focus on the signings. We'll focus on all these things, right? And we'll take all the slack from the fan base while you sit there and coach the fans. We don't, because at the end of the day, they don't have a team in there. They had to flush out some of the bad eggs in the board, which are already there. For me, Marina Petchek did have to go. So they had to find somebody else. And if they couldn't find somebody else, it would have been a negative all round.
Why did that fall on Tuchel's head? I keep seeing this. I hear it from you. I'm seeing it all over Twitter. Our old board is just as responsible for the fucking position we're in.
Yeah,
just as much as Tuchel is.
I agree.
But no one talks. No, bro. No one talks about that shit. The player power again just sacked another fucking manager.
What? That's not true.
What happens,
it is.
No. I want you to answer my question. What happens when Graham Potter comes in? Because I guarantee you Graham Potter's coming in. He's leading. He's already in London. When Graham Potter comes in and he tells you he's playing 5 at the back until he gets his signings, he thinks he's going to need 2.5 years to implement his style on this team. We just lost to Fulham.
We just lost to Wolves.
Bro,
we play the same formation, but he's an attacking man.
This isn't about player power? Wait. Scratch everyone. This isn't about player power?
January.
Not about player power.
January.
One second.
I can't hear anything, man.
Since January. We're only getting one.
Jay, just let everyone have their say, and then what we'll do is we'll open it up. I just want to hear
Nah, that was my fault. I interrupted. I'm being real. I interrupted my fault.
All right, so let's go to Callie quickly. Callie, what's your original thoughts on the news, mate, this morning?
Brother, we'll get into it when each person has the time to explain their reasoning and shit. But let's call it what it was. I was gonna come into the show and tell you uncomfortable conversations were needed to be had. The wording I was gonna use was Thomas Tuchel is gonna get sacked inevitably. And crazy enough, You wake up today, you think, our owners didn't just spend 300 fucking pounds sterling on a man to sack him 5 games into the season, to then have to get another manager, pay the fee for that manager, get that manager new players in January, which means he's not going to be able to get the proper amount of players he needs, because we all know the January window doesn't have as much quality as the summer transfer window, depends on the window. Then you're going to have to wait another couple of years for this manager to implement his style. But Chelsea Football Club have never given a manager over 2 years to build their fucking team. Did Tuchel have issues? Yes, undoubtedly. Was Tuchel causing problems with some players? Yes, undoubtedly. Did Tuchel deserve time?
Yes.
Absolutely. This has shown me something that I'm very worried about when it comes to this entire club. I thought my dumb ass, I really thought we left the hiring and firing of managers with the old regime. What I just found out today is Bully is more ruthless than Abraham. Bro, Bully is more ruthless than Roman is. You guys got what you wanted, but please, I beg you, when it comes again, when we've sacked the next manager and we've won one trophy, one big trophy in like 6 years, I don't want to hear the bitching about why we're not competing for the Prem. I really don't.
You say that these certain fans got what they wanted. I don't get how we make this decision in 5 games. There's no logical sense to me that tells me that in 5 games you get rid of a manager. I'm sorry, it done. Not when you've given him the backing that you've given him.
But Chem, here's the thing: their argument will be that Tuchel was getting worse, that the team was getting worse, and I hear that argument. But does he not get the time to prove he can flip it around? Does he not get the time to prove he can flip it around? Oh wait, that's a super chat. Go ahead.
And I was saying we're 4 points behind fucking Man City in the Premier League.
Bro, we're 4 behind City. Yes, people are acting like I haven't been aware of the losses because I see the chat. Yes, the losses are terrible. But Tuchel has proven he has the capabilities to turn this shit around. You guys are acting like it was dead.
Yeah, my real biggest problem with Thomas Tuchel leaving not only was not giving him more time. I think more time is something I feel he should have been given. Is that you know what was available in the market and what we're looking to bring in, because whoever you bring in is going to need. So you've gone out and spent 260 million on this manager, right? And you backed him, which in theory you would say, right, you've had a season of getting a couple players in. He's probably going to need another season to do that also. You now brought in another manager, right? Sacked him, brought in another manager who may have not wanted them players that we brought in, let's just say, who was going to want, like we said, more time to implement his style and get things working. He's going to have to try and make this work with what he has, which is what Tuchel's been doing anyway. Yeah. There's a lot to it. Like, people don't understand. Like Alpha with the donation, Thomas Tuchel needs new players, but if you don't have the guys you want, then you have to adjust to your personnel. That's what great coaches do.
I hope you keep the same energy, my friend. Yeah, I hope you do.
No, I agree as well. Joke says, I like Tuchel, but he had it in coming. The style of play, the way people set up against us due to Tommy's tactics, then he doesn't know how to counter that. 100% Roman had something to do with this, is what Joke's saying as well. Let's move on. I want to get to Chelsea database. What are you saying, Chelsea database?
Yeah. So I'm just going to put into some context of what happened with Tuchel in these 9 months. No, I don't think any manager has gone through what Tuchel has gone through. In January, he had to go through some bullshit Lukaku stuff that was unnecessary and just halted everything in what he was trying to do. And then what happened is in February, our club was sanctioned. Well, March it was sanctioned. So now he has to face uncertainty of his own job and the club itself as well, and as well as the uncertainty of his players. And then fast forward to the preseason, the new owner decided they want to do marketing preseason. So we end up traveling around the entire states for half of that time. And then he's unable to coach the players, develop the players on the preseason, take a look at some of the loanees coming back. And then on top of that as well, the signings have been late. We had to sign 3 players. They signed 2 players in deadline day. Fofana was also really late as well. He wanted 2 centre backs by June or July, and that they had to come in end of August. That's not good enough. He hasn't had the time to do anything that he wanted to do. He had to be a part-time scout and look at look at data and look at numbers to see which profile fit his style of play. And I've been doing this all summer. I've been looking at the numbers, and it's really boring to do, even though I like doing it. And I assume for him, it's terrible to do. And I know he just wants to focus on football, develop play, develop his tactics, trying to get his style of play going. And you know he's had to deal with all this crap that isn't part of his job description. His job description is a coach first and foremost, and he's being asked to do something else. Like it's kind of stupid. And then like I understand if you want a new manager for like this new era. So why don't we just get a new manager like as soon as the season ended? Why do we wait 5 days after deadline day when because now we signed more deadwood. We signed Aubameyang, who I'm pretty sure doesn't start for Potter. So now we've got Aubameyang on huge wages. How are we gonna get him out? Like it's ridiculous. Like it's stupid, and I don't get it, honestly.
Fair enough. True Chelsea. What are you saying, mate?
Yeah, man. I just want to ask you guys a quick question. Yeah. Do you guys actually believe that, you know, looking at what you've seen throughout the from preseason up until now, do you guys actually believe that Thomas Tuchel is actually like willing to actually change anything in the way in his approach?
He wasn't even given
No.
the time.
Absolutely.
I don't believe so.
Absolutely.
We've already seen that. We went from a 3 at the back to a 4 at the back.
What makes you believe that? I mean, this guy has. You guys remember
Brother,
this guy?
how
this
many
guy has
formations
been
and
playing.
lineups have we run? How many formations and tactics have we changed? How many
Exactly.
fucking
Now, that
different
tells you-
iterations have we run?
We've changed.
Wait, so let's ask True Chelsea. 1 second. What is it that you think? I want you to be specific here. You're saying
Facts.
what is he actually? So you tell me what it is that he hasn't done. That's what I want you to tell me.
Okay.
Go
For me, what I think the issue is, I've said it the last time. The biggest issue that we understand that we've got some players that are not good enough. Like it's not like we have 7 players that are not good enough. No, that's not the case. We've got a couple of players that are not good enough. About probably about 2 players that I would say, yeah, they're clearly not good enough for the team. But the biggest issue here is the system that this man consistently keep playing. The system is deploying
Tell me the system he should play.
on the training. This is what I'm saying. Like
What is the system? I
the
wanna know
system
the
is not clear. Like he's playing back three, but he's playing based like he's playing on the he's using the wing back. We play through wing back. We never play through the middle. Like the way this guy set up the team on the training pitch is just not good enough. Like I don't know if any of you guys have actually done any research on our training to actually see if you guys understand anything that's going on in training. I've watched a whole 1 hour of our training. I don't understand what's going on in the training because
but just know that
everything
what
is
you're
all
watching
over
is
the
not
place.
the actual
Everything
training
is all
session.
over the place, though.
Thank you for
just
your
so you know,
reaction, brother.
what you're
Thank you
seeing-
for your reaction.
Hold on. Just know what you're seeing in the training sessions is not their actual training. You know that, right? That's not the training session. They would not put that in TV. They don't allow people to just watch what they do in training.
Yeah, because then other teams will just look at that, and then guess what? You're losing the game.
So
You're
what's
losing the
the
next
actual
game.
training? So what's the actual training? Because everything
It's
I'm seeing on
it's not shown on TV.
everything I've seen
We'll
on
never
training-
actually know. We'll never actually know. Like the only way we'll be able to see
everything I've
is
seen on
via the
training,
game actually when the
me-
game actually happens.
For me, yeah, you guys are saying that, but I know what I'm saying. Yeah, but everything I've seen on the training on watching the training session is exactly the same way we play in on game days.
Okay.
It's exactly how we
Yeah,
play.
listen, okay, wait, hold on, everyone.
You guys
Kelly,
don't
Kelly,
have to
let's not-
believe
let's
it.
not-
You
wait,
guys
wait,
don't have
second.
to believe it. You don't have to believe it. You
No,
can
no,
keep
no,
blaming
this-
the players as much as you want.
True Chelsea.
Waffling, brother.
This guy is setting
One
up a
second.
team.
One second. True Chelsea. I've
Yeah.
seen. To be honest with you, I'll be honest with you. You've been consistent with saying this for a while. I've seen you on Twitter. I've seen you here. You've always said the same thing that you feel, and at the end of the day, I respect that. That's your opinion. I get it. I want to come back to that though, but I want to go through to everyone else before we start opening and everyone starts talking because still ain't heard from people. Yes, so hold that thought for a second. All right, I want to go to Couch. Couch, what you saying?
Dejected, man. I'm not gonna lie. I woke up to this news and I was just astounded that we spent 270 million pound to bring in this manager's players, and then all of a sudden, we've jump ship 6-7 games in. And then on top of that, I really just feel like, okay, let me just go off the top here, because I think that there's a lot more going on here than we actually see. Can we picture a scenario where a director of football is already in place and he's already made the decision about who he wants his next manager to be? Because if that's not the case, none of this makes sense. Chelsea have absolutely no football men at the club anymore. The people that are running the club right now have not been involved in football long enough to make big decisions. You know, and then the only guy that at the club right now that actually is a football man, they just sacked. They got rid of the international director of scouting. So everything right now just looks extremely murky. There's nothing that we could actually grip to and say, like, this is the forward thinking of the club right now. So I'm really, really worried. If I don't see a director of football in place within the next 2 weeks, I'm worried. I do not want to see a manager like Graham Potter come in before we get a director of football. That's for me. Graham Potter looks great at Brighton. I'm not going to lie. He looks great at Brighton. I'm not going to lie. They play beautiful football, but he's not necessarily at the point right now where I haven't seen enough to suggest that he can handle a big squad playing 2 games a week, 3 games a week, and also, you know, manage the big personalities at big clubs, you know, and also, you know, attract like you know, big names to the club as well. You know, like if we don't make Champions League this year, do you believe that Graham Potter is going to be able to attract people to come play for Chelsea? I don't necessarily believe that that's true.
Well, Couch, how to Tuchel attract them? How Tuchel attract? Because
I don't know. It looks like Fofana.
Summertime. Come on, let's be real, right? Summertime.
Okay, but let me just finish my point, man. Let me just finish. You can come.
No,
in,
no,
right?
I'm just pointing about attracting thing, because 6-7 players summertime didn't want to sign for us.
Yeah, but we still got. You don't think that we brought in?
Yeah, but there's context to that, Kazi, mate. Like, there's a lot of context.
Come on, let's be real.
Okay, so Graham Potter
attracts big players.
So if Tuchel can attract players winning the Champions League, you're expecting Graham Potter to bring in players and attract players based on what? No, if Tuchel can,
at least with Tuchel, they know they can win trophies.
Is it rewind? Right, is it, who did he not attract here? Because that's got me a little bit right. You're telling me that Rafinha chose. Wait a sec. Rafinha chose. Wait. Rafinha chose Barcelona. Let's not twist it. He wanted Barcelona. It was always his dream move. Yeah. All right. And on top of that, we were aggressive in that deal.
Are you asking me the question and you answering it for me? Let me answer the question for you. Right.
No, wait a sec. You're telling us. You've just said, and this is your comment. You just said, "Oh, what Paul has he got? He hasn't because he couldn't get any players."
I'm about to answer now. I'm about to answer now. No, bro.
But we bottled the Kunde transfer. I'm gonna be real.
You're asking me the question here, Jim, and you answer it for me, bro. I said we had Rafinha who bid about 60 million plus add-on, and what some players from Leeds turned us down, bro. After waiting 5-6 weeks, he coached Dembele. And he said, well, I had all summer waiting for Dembele to come in, and he ended up turning us down for Barcelona, considering Barcelona's they're not going to give us the same wage we're going to give him, right? I had a word with Dele, right? And it was Dele is in the back, X, Y, and Z. What happened after that? Dele went to Bayern Munich.
Bayern Munich.
You're listening to transfer, brother. You're listening.
Hear me out, bro. Hear me out, bro. Listen. I'm so consistent. I'm not gonna talk about Thomas Tuchel right now. I spoke about Thomas Tuchel for quite a while, bro. Yeah. Right? So don't just get jump and say this and that. I've been saying about the manager for quite a while, right? Listen, this manager, I said it before, is Richard Sale is a top. Listen. It's a top 4 manager. I support Chelsea Football Club. Chelsea Football Club should be challenging for the league, be close to City. He can go beyond top 4.
Wait. We're gonna do that with Graham Potter? That's what you're telling me?
Say that again.
You guys are crazy. Nah, you guys are insane. You think Graham Potter's gonna do a better job than Tuchel?
Let me ask him a better question. Yeah.
Say that again. How many Graham Potter?
You notice how my time got eaten into, eh? You notice that, Jeff?
Yeah. No. Let's go back to Couch for a second. Go on, Couch. Finish what you're saying. Go on.
I was just basically going to wrap up by saying I'm really worried about the position we're in, just because it's really murky. The fact that we don't have a structure at the club right now. The entire department, structure staff has been gutted, and the only people that are responsible right now are the people that have not been involved in football for very long. That's a big problem. If they hire Graham Potter and Graham Potter doesn't work out, where do we go from here? You know what I mean? Like
Thank you.
this is a big. That's not to say that Graham Potter is not going to work out. That is not to say that Graham Potter is not going to work out. I'm just worried about like what the succession is. Like we don't have any football structure in this club right now. Zero.
We never had, bro. We never had.
Well,
But why are you acting like that's okay?
Thomas
That's
Tuchel.
not
Hang on a minute.
okay.
We got a transfer window. We got an owner decided to be a sporting director, and we got a manager. He's not a manager. He's not a manager. He's a head coach.
He's not a manager.
And bro, can you chill? Just don't be rude.
No, bro, listen, I'm not allowing disrespect. No. Everybody hear me. Everybody hear me really quickly. I'm not allowing disrespect on people's name.
All right, man.
I'm not allowing disrespect. You can speak on the manager. You can have I respect your opinion. But don't you come in this fucking chat and disrespect Tuchel like he isn't the best fucking manager we've had since Conte. How fucking dare you? How fucking dare you?
I'm not.
Anyways, we're going off track again. Couch, do you want to finish off so I can go to the comments?
No, it's good, man. It's good. I like where this is going now. It's just really heated.
All right.
I don't.
All right, we're gonna go to Con next. We've got over 1,350 people here at the moment. So big up to every single one of you guys that are here at the moment. Smash the likes, guys. Get these likes up. Subscribe to the channel. Got a super chat from Mott of CFC saying great managers get the best out of their players and play them in their positions.
Exactly.
Players need to enjoy what they do, not play like dead chess. Let me just say something to this because people keep using this as the excuse why Tuchel got sacked. Whatever manager you bring through the door, I promise you now, there is going to be a current crop of players in that team that are going to be pissed off. Why? Because they're not going to get played, or they're going to get played in positions again that they don't feel that they're comfortable in. It's going to be the same stupid vicious cycle that we're having with these managers. Why? Why is the answer to that? I'll give you the answer to that. It's because we've got a bunch of players that ain't this manager's players that we're bringing in. So we bring Graham Potter in, who may have not wanted 6 or 7 of these people to play a system that he wants to play, but he's going to play the system that he plays because that's what he knows, which means the players are going to have to do it. And then what? They're going to get annoyed again because they don't want to play that way. They don't want to be there. They don't want to do this. It's the same vicious cycle. Every time we get rid of a manager and we bring a new manager in and we give them these players, they're going to have the same fucking problem. And that's why we've managed sacked in the past. Anyway, Con, what you saying?
Yeah, lads, I'm so dejected. I've had my rants today, but now I'm heartbroken, man. I'm heartbroken. We've bottled it with one of the elite managers in Europe. I honestly feel like I could cry. This guy loved the club. He stuck for us for a horrible time. And 7 games into the season, a few things didn't go right, and we just fuck him off. It's
We're already cheating on him, brother.
It's disrespectful to him. He deserves so much better. He made us champions of the world for the first time. You know, he won us that Champions League. He got us to 3rd place last season. Barely gave him any time this season. We didn't even give this guy a fully made, ready team for the season. The pre-season was a joke. It was a PR. It was all about PR. So someone says I'm too emotional. Cool, because I love Tuchel, man. Stay objective. Shut up. It's football. I'm passionate. Dickhead, man. Not in the mood. Like, I love Tuchel. I don't care what anyone says. I love him. If you don't love him, that's cool. I'm allowed to love him. I'm allowed to be emotional.
You're entitled to that, man. You're entitled to that.
And I just feel like he got set up to fail, you know. The pre-season, like I said, was all PR. The players are travelling more than playing football. I know that firsthand because I've spoken to a few people about that. They weren't happy with how much pre-season time they had. And then for the season, we still didn't even have the 2 centre-backs replaced that we lost. It was until West Ham until Fofana actually played. It's a joke, man. Barely any time. And then people saying about players being unhappy because they're not playing in natural positions. Do you guys watch Brighton? Because I'm pretty sure Trossard isn't a wing back he's not a natural wing back. Pretty sure the midfielders they play up front are not strikers, you know. So he does it too. He plays a back three also. True. So Pulisic, Savić, you know, you was crying before. You're still going to be crying because you know why? Because you're not going to get played because you don't suit the guys.
Exactly.
But I'm gutted, man. We bottled it. I thought the club changed after Roman's thingy. We'd give managers more time.
Ron, is there a better manager out there? Terms of the, and I want to ask you from the decision of Bowley, like in terms of making this. Is there any logical reason to making this decision from their point right now, and bringing in a Potter or a Pochettino? Is there anything?
Should I be honest with you?
I think he wanted his own manager. and he couldn't do it at the beginning because it would have been a PR nightmare. I think he was looking for that excuse. He got that excuse where he saw some fans turn, and I think that's when he pulled the plug. And he wanted Graham Potter. Look how quickly this has happened. This isn't just a one-day thing. This has been in the works.
I said that.
And it's so crazy because 6 days ago, we was busting our nut to get Aubameyang, and that's a very Tuchel-driven target. That makes no sense to me. A month ago, we was talking about extensions for Tuchel, and a month later, you're sacking the guy. What is your plan, Bowley? This isn't baseball. You can try to be cutthroat and get the ego and try to get some respect and all that. It's not baseball, mate. It's football. And you just fucked off a lot of Chelsea fans. I know some Chelsea fans, they ain't bothered by it. Cool, you do you, Kings. But for a majority of us, we love that man because he stuck for us to a time a lot of people want. And Tommy Tuchel, I hope you get that Real Madrid win. Carlo leaves. You deserve a big job. Go to a bigger club than Chelsea. You deserve it, mate, because we treat you like absolute shit.
Facts.
That's all I can say, man.
There you go. A very emotional con there as well. I've tried to look at it I'm still trying to look at it from a logical aspect from the Bowley side of it. I can't.
Jen, there is no logic. Let's call it a spade a spade.
Can I try and give you that perspective?
Bro, yeah. Why you looking at it is, boy, listen, let's talk fact, right? Boy, you haven't got.
Wow. But he violated your thing.
That's exactly why you lag, brother, for spewing shit. But I respect your opinion nonetheless.
Did he say
You clearly do, You clearly do, bro.
No,
what do you mean? I clearly just said I respect your opinion, brother. You lag. That's not my fault.
Listen. No disrespect each other, right?
I didn't. You're the one starting that.
Right, 1 second.
Right.
I want a logical answer. All I'm asking for, and I keep asking, is what is the logical answer to it? Why are we doing this? Is this for a different vision? Is it what Con said? Is it the fact that they want a manager that, a specific manager that they don't feel Tuchel is that? Like, what is it, Kazim? What is it you think?
First of all, I mean, you know me for quite a while, Jim, and I'm quite consistent. I've been saying for a while, because maybe the rest of the banners maybe they don't know me very well. I've got my own channel and I'm very consistent with it. Right? Yeah. Todd Bowley, first of all, he hasn't got a football background. So when you say we look at it from Todd Bowley's perspective, yeah, maybe from the finances side of it because he's a businessman, right? Not from football side of it because he's clueless when it comes to that. But I gotta talk from the football side of it because. Yeah. Well, one second. So I'm gonna talk from the football side of it, right? We've been since a year and a half now. We've not been playing good football. Before, with an exceptional game, 2, 3, 4. Performance is not great. Man management is not great, and I think winning the Champions League is paper over the crack. That's how I see it, right? Because are we up for project? Yes, I'm up for that. You have to be the right manager because yes, we know Chelsea is always pressure to deliver the result because it's a result business. Let's face it, right? I don't think we'll have the right manager, man. I mean, the guy was in there, won us the Champions League. But listen, my yardstick is the Premier League. I think I called it a while ago. He's a cup manager. He can do well in the FA Cup, the Champions League. Yeah, it's the Premier League, bro. How do you beat Liverpool? How do you be consistent in the 40 games, week in, week out?
Yes,
can he do that? I called it. He cannot do that, bro.
Kazim, you make some fair points, but my answer to you again is you get rid of Thomas Tuchel. Who comes in and does that?
Who does that job? Thank you.
Who does that job? At this point in time, at this moment,
right, okay.
I'm
answering you, John.
You tell me.
Me personally, okay, I would take Brendan Rodgers.
What? You're joking. Wait, time out. No.
I explain why. No,
I can't. Jen.
How are you gonna know if you're not explaining why?
Wait, everybody. Let him speak.
Man, like that's right there. That's crazy.
Listen, I don't agree with what he's saying, but let him speak. You have to respect his opinion.
Can I just make a quick point? I thought Brendan Rodgers was the guy they sat before Klopp because he wasn't good enough for that project.
Right, let me explain why. Let me explain why.
Let him speak. I want to hear it.
You need to tell me all that, bro. I know all that. I explain why. Right? I spoke about Listen, Tuchel ultimately is a cup manager. He won us the league. I think he's reached his ceiling. He's a top 4 manager. So if you're gonna talk about Potter, Can you give him a Chelsea squad? He will finish top 4. So actually, he's just the same level as Tuchel in the way he can finish as top 4. Point number one. Let me finish, bro.
Wait. Let him speak.
Let me finish. Let me finish. Right. Any manager, we're talking about Eddie Howe, Brandon Rodgers, Graham Potter, he can finish top 4 with Chelsea, bro. It's no brainer there. So Tuchel is not making any wonders there. Let me finish why I'm talking about Brandon Rodgers. Brandon Rodgers did fantastically well with Celtic. Brandon Rodgers, he nearly won the league with Liverpool. Brandon Rodgers
really ain't good enough.
Wow, this guy.
What's wrong with this guy, man?
Let me finish, man.
Calma.
Chill out, bro.
Let him finish. Go on. Go on, Kazim.
Yeah, but bro, Brandon Rodgers nearly won the league with Liverpool. He signed Coutinho for 80 million from Inter Milan, right? Don't judge Brandon Rodgers with Leicester, man. Leicester didn't sign anyone. The owner didn't want to know this year, okay? So I think Brandon Rodgers yeah, that's my opinion, bro. Listen, my guy, let me bought this Jim. Let me bought this guy over there. Listen, bro. When it comes to football, mate, you just don't go there with me because football is my field. Trust me when I tell you that.
All right, okay. Let's
so when I say to you, that's my opinion. So you've been a bit rude, really. So just when you talk, I don't.
Can I go after him? Yeah?
Anyway, I fell off my chair when you said that. I'm not going to lie. I done a backflip. I done 3 backflips.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. But, yeah, I mean, you're a Tuchel man, innit, Jim? I mean, he didn't get us anyway.
No, Kazim, do you know what it is?
Jim Matteo, bro. Jim Matteo was with Champions League and the Cup.
One second.
Yo, you talk about disrespect.
One second. There's one big thing with me when it comes to managers, right? In the past, we've always given them 1 or 2 years. They win things, they go. That's the Chelsea philosophy. That's how we've done things, right? That is just what we've done. Yeah, we bring in this manager and we bring in new owners, right? And granted, it could have gone the way it has, but the idea was that from what we'd seen in terms of the hierarchy on the old guard being sacked, being kicked out, and having Bowley as the main guy and reading, which is what we got told by media, yeah, that Thomas Tuchel and Todd Bowley were going to work together on summer negotiations to try bringing players to show back in because to me, ultimately, for what they did in that window, just showed me that they were behind him. It showed me that they were going to give him time. These were little things that I just assumed from what we were being told were things that, things that we were planning to give him the opportunity to move forward and do. We all knew he was on a transition. He came out himself and said that we're under a rebuild. He knew it. He was nowhere ready to be challenging for Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues, which is what he said. What Kazim's saying there, we should be challenging, is what he's saying. This, that, and the other. I get all that, but it's understanding. For me, it's understanding your expectations, and we're nowhere in that position to be talking about challenging for Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues and
Jem, can I make a point quickly, bro?
Can
I quickly make a point? Why would you need to do a rebuild if you was in a position where you could challenge? Why would you need to do a rebuild then?
Why would you go all your way to say the transitional period? Like
hold on. My bad. I just can't get over the Brendan Rodgers thing. I
apologize.
apologize.
Before you go, let me read out these 2 super chats. Let me just read out.
Go ahead.
Let me read out these 2 super chats. I'm going to miss them otherwise. I keep forgetting them. Professor of the King says Potter will rid the club of old players. Expect revolution. Potter is on the rise. He'll succeed at Chelsea. He's not a big name manager. But we said the same thing about Thomas Tuchel.
Same thing about Tuchel.
Anyway,
you guys don't realize Tuchel got rid of Lukaku. He got rid of everyone.
One second, I said, do you know what our fan base is? And I keep seeing it here and there.
We're
like parrots. We're parrots. I'm sorry. We just say things.
Oh, you have to believe in something, man.
Have the same answer to what we had. Basically, when we get given a new toy, we all get excited. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. And we're going to get this and that and the other. Yeah. And then, like with a baby with a toy, after a while, it gets bored of it. And it usually gets bored of it in a short span of time. Like it just goes, I want something new. Buy me Woody out of Toy Story, for example. Yeah. That is exactly that's what we like. We literally just want to continuously, when things ain't working or we're bored of something, we want something new. We want to try something else. And that isn't our fault because we've just been bought into that with the Roman era and seeing how aggressive they've been in sacking managers. But there comes a time eventually that I assumed, from what we've been shown up to this point, that eventually we were going to back a manager, that we were going to see that this squad was never, not in the positions it was 10 years ago. to be able to challenge Premier Leagues and do these things. Yeah, and that's where we are now. That's where I understand it.
Jim, and this is what I was going to say. When our team, before Tuchel got sacked, when our team started playing Lampard ball, that just said it all. That just said it all. They just went back to the old ways when passing it sideways and whipping it in. They just gave up.
Yeah, Frankie D, the same issues from last season. Even with the signings, nothing changed. I love Tuchel and was still Tuchel in, but he had no direction nor plan. But that again can't be true because we sacked him after
that's false because he tried. Last season,
okay.
4 months, he tried the 5 formation.
Before I get vexed again, Jen, let me just run this off really quick because I don't want to talk about Brendan Rodgers after this point. You said, Brett, you hold Brendan Rodgers in the same class as Tuchel, Potter, the likes, that they're top 4 managers, right? I hear that. Do you think Brendan Rodgers and Graham Potter will perform in Europe the way Tuchel has? I'm going to give you a quick answer. It was rhetorical. No, they won't. Now, let me go ahead and continue from there. You say that a lot of the arguments I'm hearing is he's Di Matteo 2.0, right? So let's have it right. And I don't even use that fucking quote.
Yeah, you do.
When we won that first Champions League, that was because of how good our fucking team was. If you guys actually watched that campaign, Di Matteo's tactics were getting us caught out on the break.
On the Champions League.
No, wait, hold on. Let me finish because I know that's what's going to be the retort. You're going to say he's no. But let me listen. That's what I'm saying. You're waffling. Listen to me. You're saying it doesn't matter how we win.
Listen.
Let me, bro. I let you speak. I apologize for yelling. I calmed down.
Listen, City and Liverpool were better than Real Madrid. Real Madrid in the win it, bro. It doesn't really matter how you win it. It's a cool cup.
Brother, if you let me finish my point, you will understand why I'm bringing it up. We won our second champion.
Not Kazim. Let him talk. Yeah, let him talk. Go on.
Our second Champions League, we won due to the genius of our manager, not our fucking team. If Lampard was in charge of that team, we don't win that Champions League, and that's a fucking fact. That's not opinion.
We get
so here's what I'm telling you right here. No. Here's what I'm telling you right here. So you clearly saw that the manager was more instrumental into our win than the team was. You have now sacked that manager. What do you think these players are going to do? They're going to have a spell where they play better. We're going to have more attractive football. We might get some good results. And then the same cycle is going to commence. The manager is going to have a patch. He's not going to know exactly immediately how to solve it. The fans are going to throw their toys out the fucking pram, and then we're going to sack the manager again. And we're going to keep doing this merry-go-round until I die.
Ali, and do you want to know what the funniest thing was? A couple of weeks ago, and I think it was like a month ago as well, the players themselves said there was no one else better in terms of management than Tuchel. Before they started turning on him, they said there's no better caliber manager than Thomas Tuchel around.
There isn't still now. There isn't still now.
And
what the hell? Who's available?
I ain't gonna lie to you. You guys remember? You guys do remember that Todd Boehly has contractually, like legally, written down saying that he will try everything to win. So now that if he brings in Potter after this season, Potter has to win. If not, then everything's on Todd Boehly. Like I ain't gonna blame Potter because let's be honest, this job is massive. Like, and I just don't know what to say because Todd's gonna be here for like 10
anyone
years.
think? Sorry, man. Does anyone think that it makes sense to bring in Potter before a director of football?
No.
We need somebody
it doesn't make sense to sack Tuchel.
It doesn't make sense to sack a manager with a 60% win rate. A 60%
Brother,
win
we're
rate.
moving mad. There is no logic in what we're doing. We are moving mad.
1 second. You can't go into a season without a manager. I'm sorry. I don't care what you say. You
Yeah,
can't tell me that we go out a full season without having someone there. We need someone there. We do need
Bro, when this says everything when rival fans even question the decision of sacking. They're probably laughing right now because they know it's screwed now. We're a lot weaker.
They know.
Jem,
know. I had a United fan
can I
message
quickly
me
say
about
something if that's all right?
Yeah, go on. Yeah, go on, mate.
We got Super Tommy Tuchel. Do you know what? He's been fired, and I'm devastated, bro. Honestly, when I saw it, because I'm hungover as hell today, bro. I saw it, and I thought I was still drunk. And then when I actually saw it all coming out, my heart sunk. I felt like somebody shot me in the chest. And you know what? This football club is exactly how it was under Roman. It's not going to change. I've accepted it now.
Facts.
And you know it is what it is, man. I'm not attaching myself to any manager ever again.
Players
Hurts too much,
run
man.
this club. Forget director of football. The players run
I
this
hope
club
Potter
now.
does well. I think he will do all right. I just
Yeah,
hope that when things get bad, Todd don't be a dickhead and sack him. You know, give him time. It's
Can
what
I
you should
just-
go to Tuchel, but
It's
The,
good
Jem,
to
I
the
know,
players,
No,
I
Can I
gotta
just say
judge
something?
them.
yeah,
Guys,
Jem,
1 second.
yeah,
Let me
sorry.
just say bye to Con. Yeah, go on, Con.
Yeah,
Go on.
Jem, I love you, bro, and like to see
See you
the only
later, bro.
good thing I've seen about today is that you're absolutely smashing it with the view. So everybody,
Yeah,
if you're not like the video, Jem is honestly the best guy on YouTube. I love you guys.
See you, bro.
See you later,
Big
man.
up
Take
to you,
care.
Con.
Really
Respect,
appreciate it,
man.
bro.
Take care.
Big up.
You know
Good
what
man,
I
man.
was gonna say to it, right?
1 second, Hassan. Let me just read out the
Yeah,
super
sorry.
chat, mate. Sorry. Dinisham says Potter will play Mount as right wing back, and we will see, is what he said there. Cam says we ain't finishing fifth, we're finishing sixth now because of losing Thomas Tuchel. What else did I read? What else was I going to say? Did I miss another one? No, I haven't. But
I was gonna
yeah,
say
go on,
for a laugh, bring in short time because Marina will be propping her agenda
Yeah.
now. He's here.
well, Matty's here. Let's see what Matty's got to say. Come on, mate. What time, bro?
Welcome,
Mate,
Matt.
I'll be up. I mean, I
Welcome,
heard just
Matt. I saw
Kasim.
your video.
I was at work. I was on break, and I'm sitting down. I hear this. Same like on. My heart just sunk. I was speechless. Got my phone. I just vented on there, and you got these absolute fucking clowns on Twitter saying that I'm overreacting. All this rubbish. Tuchel is out. We've lost the only manager who we've started to build a team around. We've lost this guy. Kasim, I know everyone was coming at Kasim before. Kasim has his opinion. Me and Kasim are going back and forth for 6 months. I respect Kasim's opinion on all that, but Brendan Rodgers is quite mad, Kasim. I'll give you that. But you know, on Tuchel here, it's just an utterly embarrassing day. You know, Con said 3 words in his facts. We are never going to change. I said we're never going to change. This Todd Bowley era. Todd Bowley is a disgrace. He's a cheat. I back this guy. I've been propping this guy. I'm loving this guy. How do we go from here? We're going to start from ground fucking zero. We brought this players in, Cucurella, Sterling, Koulibaly. These guys are the best players who've been playing on this pitch week in, week out. And now we're going to start from ground zero, getting Graham Potter, plays a different play style, this and that. It's not going to end up being a long-term manager. He's going to get sacked within a week or two. It's embarrassing. I don't like this, how we're doing this. I'm just so angry right now. And I've been angry for the last 4 hours. I'm trying
Get it out, man.
to really
try and get it out, man.
Where do we go from here?
Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Yo, brother in the car. Your mic.
Man,
Matic.
I mean, how do we go from here, guys? Boom, mate. We get Graham Potter, yeah. How do we go from here, guys? Kasim.
Nothing.
Kasim.
Matt, you know the answer to your question. It's rhetorical. We're going to win one major trophy randomly in the next 7 years if Potter is even the manager.
Right now.
And let me say this, the players,
oh, sorry.
Mason Mount, I was speaking there, Mason Mount, you are a disgrace. Christian Pulisic, you are a disgrace. These players coming in, these generational talents, they are a disgrace. Every single player on that pitch, Reece James included, Thiago Silva included, these players are letting the manager down. There are some exceptions to the rules, but the exception to the rule does not then make the rule. These players are absolutely horrendous. I hope Mount's sleeping it right now in his 400, however much his house is worth, he's sitting there, he's lying, and he is taking accountability because no one takes accountability in this team. And you better come to training and show some fucking respect because he is a disgrace. And nothing's going to go from here. Again, these players are letting our manager down. It's been the same thing.
You know what it is? I'm not gonna blame Potter anymore because now Todd Bowley has done everything and possibly got rid of his scapegoat. That would have been Tuchel, right? He's done everything from top. He's done everything from top to bottom and even signed a country player. Yeah, he's going to bring in his manager now. Yeah, everything from top to bottom is Todd Bowley and co. So whatever happens now, I'm not gonna blame Potter. The job may be too big for him. Everything's gonna go on Todd Bowley now.
You know how we're gonna win. You know, we got to start getting rid of these players. I'm sorry. I'm gonna blame these players because these players are the people on the pitch who are playing this fucking game. Tuchel's doing everything he can. He's putting Mason Mount. He's putting Kai Havertz on. These guys are not doing anything. They're not respecting. There's no appreciation to being on that pitch. Do they know where they are? They're 1% of the population get on that pitch, and they do not respect it. They do not respect the manager. They don't respect where they are at the moment. And the same thing's gonna happen if we keep playing Mason Mount. We keep playing these absolute bums. I'm sorry for targeting the name Mason Mount, but he is a part of a main part of the problem. I'm sorry.
No,
For the
man,
main time
all you're
coming.
doing is preaching facts because people are acting like it was just Tuchel. What happened to Lampard? We forgot that one too, right? And don't sit here and say Lampard was inept. We know he was inept. But if the players actually didn't sell him under the bus, we get top 4 that year as well.
Listen,
Like,
guys,
come on, guys.
listen,
At a certain
listen.
point in time, we have to recognize
Listen,
the actual issue.
Callie, 1 second, man. 1 second, okay? First of all, Tuchel's not absolved of any of the blame here. Let's get that right off the bat, right? It's not so much just all about Bowley, all about the playing staff. Tuchel takes responsibility for this as well. We saw the lineup that he put up yesterday. That was a abysmal lineup, right?
Yeah,
okay, and keep in mind, when he came to Chelsea, let me just finish, bro, please. When he came to Chelsea, oh fucking hell, man! Like I can't get my ideas out, man. Okay, when he came to Chelsea, the biggest thing that he did was galvanize the squad. He was getting people in from the cold and bringing them into the squad and using the entire squad. That's the exact opposite of what we're seeing right now. He's alienating players. He's not communicating with them. You know, we're hearing all sorts of things like that are coming out. And that's part of being a manager at the top, the biggest level, is not just what you do on the pitch and the tactics. It's about managing personalities. And he's not doing that right now. Let's just be real about it.
But Couch, to kind of like defend his point, hasn't that happened to the last 6-7 managers?
That's exactly what I'm saying, Couch.
They've
You're
all said
saying,
it's hard to motivate. So
and also, I have a counter argument with the best manager in the world. I'm saying I have a counter argument to the best manager in the world, Pep. Pep has fallen out with many a player.
Hold on a second. You guys are carrying on like it's the exact same playing staff for the last 7 years. Like the players come and go every year. You know,
yeah,
like
the same
but Couch.
You have to be able to
listen.
manage personalities, okay? You have to be able to manage personalities. That's football. That's beyond football. That's hockey. That's soccer. That's basketball. Everything. You have to be able to manage personalities.
So
he's not doing that right now, man.
I'm about to reply to him with a very easy one. How come when Pep doesn't get along? Oh,
When was the last time a manager at Chelsea managed personalities?
Probably right
Mourinho.
No one.
So can you see how far we're going back, Couch, right now? And how many managers have we had in between that time, roughly? 10, 11, 12?
5 to 7. I can't even remember, to be real with you.
Yeah. So my point is, I agree that managers have to manage players. Yeah, I get that. I get all that. But where the issue lies for me, and has lied even under the Roman Abramovich era, is that the consistency to consistently when you consistently
prolong success.
I love it.
Wait, I'm going, mate. My mind's everywhere today.
Prolonged success.
When you consistently sack managers that are then inheriting squads to then sack managers that are inheriting squads to then sack managers that are inheriting squads, you're asking them to deal with maybe personalities, but forget just the personalities, the abilities that they possess, the whatever
profiles.
You're asking to always bring the best out of these certain individuals under a manager that maybe wouldn't use that player. So what I'm saying is, if you had a manager that completely had, and I'm not saying from 1 to 25 players that are always players, but had a main core of players, and I'm talking about a spine of players that are his players, which is what I thought we were trying to aim to do with Tuchel moving forward. And I'm not talking over one summer stupid window, which we had a good window. I'm talking about over a progressive period. Yeah. If you don't give managers the time to do that, and then you bring a manager in and ask him to then accommodate and manage personalities and get the best out of players with the crop that he has, it's a hard job to do. And that's why when it comes to managers coming to Chelsea, I honestly pity it a little bit, because it's not a fucking easy job. You're coming into a bunch of squads of players with like 3 or 4 generations of managers to deal with.
You're coming to players that go crying to the board.
We've given them long-term contracts. Our own fault again, where we can't get them off the books like we have done this year, which we've done 90% of them. This is something that's dragged on for so long, and it's going to continue if we just keep sacking managers.
Can I ask Couch something in supplement to what you're saying? Couch, how come in based on what you're saying, why do the best managers, the ones better than Tuchel, when they have a falling out with a player, when a player isn't fitting their system, when their profile doesn't suit them, even if the board signed them, aka club, they get rid of them. Not let them linger in the team on the bench, the U23s. Pep has literally ripped up the 11 that Pellegrini gave him with the exception of who was it? Fernandinho, Aguero, Company, and one other person. Other than that, he ripped that entire team apart. And he was given the backing by the owner. My main issue right now, Couch, is that we now have a disconnect. There's a disconnect between the owner and the manager. Now there's a disconnect between the owner and the fans. You got half the fans saying Bully did the right thing. The other half of the fans are like, Bully, you can fuck off. You're an American. You don't know what you're doing. Do you see the chaos that we are now creating? I'm not saying that Tuchel doesn't take blame, Couch. Tuchel was making mistakes. But this is what I'm trying to say. If you fellas get married, right, and your girl is slacking on showing you some love, are you going to go out and cheat on her the next day? Brother, it was 5 games in. I'm not saying he could have turned it around. I'm saying he deserved to sink with his ship. Not because, you guys are acting like 1 year out of the Champions League would have killed this club.
Okay.
But I don't think he would. I think he would have got to top 4. Listen, because people are like, look at his standards. I think he would have made top 4 regardless.
Not with the way we're playing, man. We can't.
No,
Yeah.
guys. Context. Obviously, with how we're playing right now, we were going to 10th. But if you didn't back Tuchel to at least make changes,
you can't tell me that in 5 games.
That's what I'm saying. There's not enough time. It's not enough time.
That's the whole problem of it for me, and that's the biggest problem of it. You can't tell me that in 5 games that we was gonna be 10th. You can't tell me that.
And we had good players as well.
Everyone who signed. If this was match day 10 or match day 15, it's a different story. Yes. But since the 5 games,
I agree with you.
So you guys agree? Can I just say this? You guys agree that this is obviously. This is shocking, and this is like about face from everything that we've seen. So obviously, there's something else going on here, right? It can't just be going through.
Was this personal life shit? It was, I don't know. I saw some like.
I think it's more about
some waffle. I think
about the player dynamic. Matt, just think about the player dynamic, right? How do you get to the point where you're bringing in 6-7 players for the manager? And then 5-6 games in, you've decided to sack the manager that you just backed with 271 million pounds. There has to be something bigger going on here, guys. Not just as simple as just saying.
Couch, that part actually makes sense. That's the only thing that makes sense. You got players on the team. No. Listen, Jen, I'm telling you. I'm saying based on how he got sacked. You have players that want people out of the fucking. I mean, you don't want the coach there anymore, right? You have Bully talking directly to players, and players are telling him, "I don't know, man. You're the new owner. It would probably be more advantageous if you got a new manager that fits your build or your design for this club." Then on top of that, I know for a fact that Tuchel probably has a disconnect with the owners on several issues. We don't need that to come out in the public, same way with Lampard, for us to know that's what's going down behind the scenes. We know there's a bust up somewhere. But the question is, and this is what I'm saying, Jen, this is the part that doesn't make sense. Why was there a bust up 5 games into the season after 262 pounds sterling spent? That's what I want to know. Because we're risking the next 4 years of Chelsea over it.
Can I just say something?
Someone needs to give me an answer.
Can I just say something?
Absolutely, sir.
I think that, like me personally, I was shocked as anyone was. And I'm still on the opinion that there's no one better than Tuchel right now to take the job. But I think they've had this in their mind for a while, and I also don't like not to say that they knew they were going to sack him, but I don't think, like, obviously Tuchel wasn't their choice for a manager.
They never planned to keep him. I feel what you're saying.
Yeah,
finish, man. Jeez.
No. I see what he's saying. He's agreeing, but I think they were going to let it ride out and see how he did. And I think most of these signings are Tuchel's signings, and to be honest, I'm not really sure on Graham Potter, but maybe Graham Potter is their idea of where they want to start it and then have that as a long-term manager. I'm not sure. Like that's the way I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, we said the same thing with Tuchel. That's the thing. Like,
no, but it is.
Going to be the same thing with Tuchel.
Matt, we're in a position now where we're going to have. It is what it is. It's happening. I keep saying to people, I am open to understanding why they've done it if you can give me a logical answer. But if you're going to throw Brendan Rodgers at me, I'm going to fall off the chair. And listen, I respect Kazim. I do. He's always been very, like, in terms of what he does. If he thinks something, he thinks something. And if he said that's him, that's it. That's fair enough. That's his opinion. Yeah. He might be right. From what I've seen of Brendan Rodgers, like for me the same as Poch. I don't think they're the right managers for Chelsea. Personally, that's my opinion. Let me get in here for the therapy sessions. What AJ's just sent over as a donation as well. We've got some breaking. Well, I say breaking, but 2 minutes ago news from David Alston that says Chelsea are meeting Graham Potter this afternoon with the view to naming him as head coach. Brighton understood to have granted permission for talks after CSC indicated readiness to pay the release clause, so they've already agreed to do that. Plus, Potter gave blessing to discussions, which, again, if a manager gives blessings to the discussion, means that, from my opinion, he wants the job. He wouldn't just be sitting there and ignore, you know. So let's go to Showtime, because I haven't heard from him yet. Showtime, what are we saying?
My
Good
guy.
afternoon, good evening. Hope all you guys are doing well. I think you guys can hear the excitement in my voice here. Look, it was written on the walls. Tuchel, this has been written on the walls. It started in the preseason when we went and played Charlotte and we got beaten. Then went ahead and played Arsenal and they tore us a new one. And then we start the season off very poor. It's not appealing to the new owners that you have a manager here who we spent 200 and something million for him. And we brought in all these players and they're not performing. And then he put out that team yesterday, and that team just looked like they didn't want to play for him anymore. You put Mason Mount and you put Kai Havertz in the middle, playing the double six, which is poor. And my thing is, if guys keep speaking of player power, if the guys that you guys speaking of player power is on the pitch, then it's not the player power, it's the manager's fault. Why do you seem to play these players that are against you? Mason Mount, Kai Havertz, you played them, you stuck them in there. And then
fucking fan base, that's why.
They
He gets
didn't-
dropped, you get criticized.
They didn't prove. So freaking what? Do you want to win or do you want to be criticized?
Nah, Showtime. What Mike is saying are the intangibles. Someone's echoing, by the way.
It's probably Showtime. He's always echoing when he talks. So that's why you got to let Showtime finish what he's saying. And then anyone can answer. So Showtime, do you want to finish off?
Yeah, I just want to look. At the end of the day, Tuchel was too stubborn to get in his own head that certain things weren't going to work and fly around. I'm going to end off by saying this. The Roman Empire still stands. The way Roman has done things is going to continue because that's how Chelsea runs. No matter who is the new owners and who was the owner. The Roman Empire is standing.
So can I ask you this? Showtime, let me ask you this real quickly, mate. Do you feel that sacking him after 5 games was the right thing to do already? Even though we already knew that there were areas in our team that needed to be improved that weren't, and that we were going to lose games, and we was going to lose games. I agree. I agree with the way we're losing games was wrong, and I agree with the way we've been losing not right. There's a way of losing, and that's not the way. But for you, do you think that him leaving after 5 games is the right thing to do?
For me, Jem, I don't support him being part. Look, the thing is, I don't think he was fired. I think they parted ways on mutual grounds. I think he wanted to step away, and they also wanted to step away. And it just came because he's also dealing with personal issues that is clouding his judgment when it comes to this game. Since last season, he's been dealing with these issues. And now it's been taking an effect since last season by the style that we played. No matter the personnel that we brought in this year, last year has been the same thing. Nothing has changed but the players that we have brought in. So I just think that he was ready to go. You could see it in his face. Look, his actions and his demeanor yesterday is the same way Frank Lampard acted when he knew his job was in jeopardy. His demeanor, his actions was just alike. They were sitting down, soaking, couldn't say too much. They wasn't too into the game. They was talking to their assistants in an aggressive manner. It's all showed that he was on his to break. And then the owners was like, okay, yeah, it's a new era. We're gonna do what we do. We're gonna follow Roman's blueprint and let him go. Simple. And it's like they part ways. He wasn't sacked. I just think they had mutual agreement. It was like, okay, yeah, it's not the best fit for me right now. Thank you for the money that you spent, but I don't need it no more. I'm gonna go my own way. You guys just wasted 270 million. Now I'm chilling.
Can I ask you something? I know you got to mute yourself for me to ask you something. So real quick, you said the Roman blueprint continues. Respectfully, I'm 28 years old, so I can't even say this with Chelsea. But Chelsea existed long before Roman. Roman was not the only way that this club was run. That blueprint, although it is the most successful blueprint to date, has created the very chaos that us Chelsea fans hate. And yet you are saying, and you're saying you want to keep this. We have never, brother. If we were never like this, Mourinho would have brought us more trophies. Ancelotti would have brought us more trophies. Sarri would have a full system in place right now with attractive football that you guys threw him out of the club for because he wasn't a Chelsea man. Rory Jennings, Jesus Christ. So, like, my thing is, at what point in time do we recognize if we want to be a Man United, a Liverpool, we have to change our blueprint. The blueprint now is only good for one thing. In about 6 years from now, we're going to win the Prem. I can bet you money.
Okay,
Here's the thing.
One question.
And I'll finish right here. That's one Premier League like in 6 years. Same way, what year is it now? Going to 2023. When's the last time we won? 2017. I rest my case.
I'll just say this. When it comes to, we didn't want Sarri to leave. Sarri wanted to go on his own. Mourinho wanted him to stay. He didn't want to stay. That's not on us. At the end of the day, the blueprint has been, we won everything. Liverpool, they had to find Klopp. It's like a rare gem to find Klopp in the Pep Guardiola for Man City. It's not often that you get these type of managers to come in and over a long time they've been successful because they had the time. We're not used to giving these managers the time. See, I'm a Roman era Chelsea fan. I came in when Roman took over. So I'm used to, hey, you here for 2 years and you go about your business after that. You're not successful. He won us what? He won us the Super Cup and the Club World Cup, and we lost the FA Cup back to back. We lost the Carabao Cup again to Liverpool again. So I mean, we have not been. He went to 6 finals and he only won 3 of the finals. Okay, so I mean, it's each one teach one. Are you guys? Because some Chelsea fans don't even weigh the World Club Cup and the Super Cup against the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. So is he? How successful is he really? That's my opinion. But then again, when it's Tuchel at the end of the day was too stubborn to realize that he needed to make some changes within himself before he can try to implement some changes within the team. He was trying too fast, and he let these players like Mason Mount and Kai Havertz. He chose favoritism over playing actual players. That's how I saw it. It was a favoritism thing from him.
I'm just spitballing here. Can I just jump in real quick? I'm just spitballing though. So like, don't take anything that I say with any real,
validity. I got you.
Yeah, but
yeah, I bought the couch. Why would you say that, Andre? Go on.
No. But what about if it was just a working relationship with Tuchel? Like the idea that we're setting up to bring in a director of football. He's not really worked with one of those before and been successful. Like obviously at PSG there was a falling out, and maybe while Bowley was working with him, he's come to the conclusion that this guy doesn't necessarily know how to work with people that way. You know what I mean? Like it came out in the media the other day. He was talking about like his relationship with Peter Cech and how he, really liked working with Peter and whatnot. And, they had a good working relationship and whatnot. But like now that Bowley has seen the inner workings of what it's like to work with Thomas Tuchel in the role that he was given, maybe he's coming to the conclusion that, you know what? I don't think that this guy's going to be working with a director of football. He's shown that he doesn't want Ronaldo. I told him we can get him Ronaldo. He doesn't want Ronaldo. And he hasn't really shown me anything, that resembles the style of football that I want to play right now. And, I don't know. Again, I'm just spitballing, but I really feel like it's the relationship of how this guy works with other people that could have been his downfall.
Wait, Couch, is that a question or a comment?
I will say
it's kind of more of a comment, but yeah.
I will say, have I missed any super chats? I hope I haven't. No, because I haven't been looking. Let me have a quick look. No, Surrey Ball was shit and overrated like a surfer. Yeah.
People really hate Sarri.
I'll give you answer what Couch just said.
Him because of the lack of plan B.
Like every other top manager we've seen.
Let's hear. Yeah, I'll come back. Let's hear from Mabas because he's not said anything yet. Mabas, what are you saying?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Not bad, mate. How are you?
I'm good.
What do you want to say, mate?
I'm shocked about the Thomas Tuchel sacking. I'm shocked.
Yeah, we all are, mate. Yeah, like, tell me more. Like, do you think it's the right thing to do 5 games in? Do you agree with some that are saying that this is always going to happen? What's your thoughts?
I knew Tuchel wouldn't last the season. I knew it.
Facts. I like
because
you.
he
You're
did the
short,
same. He
sweet to
did
the
the same
point.
at PSG.
What, you knew this was going to happen?
Yeah, I knew it. I
Okay.
didn't really want Tuchel to get sacked. I wanted him to stay.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, listen. I'll be honest with you guys, right? I've sat here and I don't really understand why we've done it now. I know some people were saying, well, you just got to look at the patterns and the players and he's playing them out of position. And I get all this. I get what you're saying. I understand it. You know, his reaction yesterday to the loss was, I'll take responsibility for this. You know, I need to address it. And it was more of a, because this is what we was going to meant to be talking today, right? The game
Tuchel lost the
yesterday,
dressing room.
we lost 1-0 yesterday. We didn't even get to talk about that flipping
Gem.
game. But, yes, mate.
Tuchel lost the dressing room.
Yep.
I think I
Okay.
don't think he specifically lost the dressing room. Do you know what I think it was? I think they got lost in the idea of what it is he was trying to do specifically. You know, and maybe certain players being played out of position didn't aid the system in the first place. And when you do that, you're not going to get the best out of it. But ultimately, and I keep saying it, we were always going to have this issue because we were having to accommodate certain players to cover for certain areas, and that was going to happen through this season until we addressed the squad depth, and then until we could finally allow the players that didn't want to be there to go. And we couldn't do that in that one window. So, you know, we still find ourselves with the same problems, even with a new manager coming in. The only difference is now, which I will say, is that if we're going to bring this new manager in, I want to see him get the best out of these players now, because that's what the argument is from the Tuchel outers. You know, he didn't get the best out of the players, and we, you know, this and that. So now Graham Potter comes in. I want to see the best. I want to see these players.
I was never Tuchel out. I was Tuchel in as always.
I don't know, mate. I think it's.
We all were 2-2 in at one point, but we started to realize that the style of play started to change, which some of us weren't appealing to.
Short
In
time,
effect,
a manager could always change his style of play. I think we're all Tuchel in based on the fact that we can't find a same or a similar caliber of manager. I think if there was another manager that was like Tuchel or even better than Tuchel, I think we would have sacked him. I think we would have looked at it a lot more objectively than emotionally.
Yeah.
That's why it doesn't make sense. Do you see a manager better than Tuchel right now?
No.
That's not Zidane, because
Well, look,
Zidane's not coming.
Kelly, at the end of the day, the decision's been made. He's gone. For whatever reasons, they have a vision in play, and we need to see that vision. That's something that we're not able to see yet. Because, all right, granted, they've only been here not long, the new owners, right? But now they're gonna. Now they've made these decisions, and they've dug what they've made. They've laid their foundation. They now need to start throwing in the personnel that they feel is going to be the project, that's going to be the philosophy, that's going to be the system with the DOF, with the new head of recruitment, the new manager. So these are all, and if it's Graham Potter that they have wanted for so long because they like for what they see and whatever, they need to be ready to give him time and give him funds, and back him. Yeah, because he will have moments. I'm telling you now, with this squad that he takes on, he will have moments where we lose games. We will. We just will. I know.
Jem, but the thing you said is the point. Oh, go on.
Go on.
Oh, no, just the ending point for what you're about to say before you transition is what Couch said is right. As far as not even an opinion, it's a fact that Tuchel's downfall for himself was the stubbornness. Do I think he earned the time to be stubborn and try things and similar to how other managers find their way through the league? Yes. However, Couch is right. The stubbornness is his personal downfall because it only accelerated all the chaos going on. And that's what I'm trying to say. When Graham Potter comes in, all I ask Chelsea fans, keep the same energy. So if Potter could not improve these same players we've been cursing since Lampard, I want him sacked. And that's not me being reactionary. That's how we run, right? We're going to sack our manager if he can't improve all the players in the team, correct? So I want the same energy. That's all I'm asking. He's not going to do it. That's what I'm saying. I want the same energy.
No one is.
Could I at a little point just try and be like devil's advocate for a second? Although I've always been Tuchel, and I'm not gonna I got so heated on one of these shows trying to go against people that were just saying it what I thought was a mundane and irrelevant point. But to me, seeing it now, I've had time to simmer down and not be as emotional as I was this morning when I saw this news. But I feel like this this wasn't a 5-game thing. I feel like as Todd Bowley came in, I don't think he would have looked at this objectively from 5 games. He would look, okay, what's this person's trends before I came in? What has he shown after I've come in? What has his been like? What have he and what has he tried? What has he succeeded in and what has he failed in? For me, we can say, okay, he was stubborn tactically, which I don't think he was. He tried things, but for me, whenever he tried that back four, it didn't work.
We struggled.
Whenever he tried some things, like for me, I feel like his whole philosophy of I'll let my attackers play their own tune. I thought there was something in that for the long term, but it didn't.
Yep.
It didn't manifest itself, unfortunately. But we've been seeing this for more than 5 games, more than preseason. We've seen that Thomas Tuchel's free license to the attackers that he's had. And even so, even I feel like there was glimpses of it today, yesterday with Aubameyang. You can't expect 3 different interchanging every week. There's a different right wing, a different striker, or a different left wing. You can't expect those front 3 to always gel and sync and just start doing their own thing. They're not going to find goal.
But Jay, just on the back of what you're saying, and I agree with you. Like, you can't just keep chopping and changing and expect to have like some sort of cohesion.
Exactly,
and, like,
100%.
lineup. But at the same time, if they were looking at the body of work from last year up until the 5th game of this year, why back him in the window? This is what I understand.
Facts. That is a question. That is a question that I want answering for. But then, do you know what I think?
This comes to a conclusion. Would you not accept the possibility of them being board signings and setting
That's
up
what I'm
shit?
saying. Thank you.
Well, we've been told the entire summer that Tuchel is responsible and involved in the discussions for players coming in.
And Couch, we've been told that Marina would stay in the window and she didn't.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like for me, that news came up earlier in the window. We didn't hear that past July. Well, no, past June. Matter of fact, we can't use that news anymore. So for me now, after that news died out of Tuchel back, and we started seeing signers coming in left, right, and center with no reassurance or no continued affirmation that this is Tuchel's signings. As soon as that closes, as soon as he's gone now, we're starting to see a whole lot of different things coming up now.
But don't you think that if he bought those players with the mind that we're going to be playing 3 at the back though? Like that's a 3 at the back. You know.
Let me even go further. So how can I blame Tuchel for his own sacking if the players he said he needs to implement his identity were board signings and not his own signings? Now it's shifting straight towards the owner.
I'm saying this for me, my personal opinion, I'm still hurt. I am still very hurt, but I'm gonna be real. I'm looking at being real. I'm thinking, you know what? It is what it is. Let me now connect the dots. And I'm thinking, hold up. So these signers must not have been Tuchel's all the way. And if it wasn't all the way, because the lit wasn't his. Yeah. One second, bro. Listen, yeah. The lit clearly was this guy was in love with the lit. Then he was in love with Kunde. Then he was in love with flipping Fofana. Something isn't Rafinha. He was in love with all these different players. And it never worked out for some reason.
He didn't want to come that way.
I know.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Say with Kunde, he was in love with the club from the previous summer. We fumbled that back.
Can I ask you guys a question? Are you guys more hurt about Tuchel leaving or when Frank Lampard got sacked?
Tuchel,
I say Tuchel as a manager. Tuchel 100%.
Yeah,
Tuchel 100%.
Frank Lampard was inept, and
people guys, listen.
What they saw of him as a player. That's all it was.
No. I don't. For me, it's not even about the managers.
Than Tuchel. I feel like Lampard was just that he stayed, but it's Tuchel that is left.
The thing for me that kills me. Oh, go ahead, John. You're good.
I was just saying, it's not that I'm attached to any of my managers. I've actually never been attached to any managers emotionally. What I do feel when a manager,
not even Mourinho.
What it is. I'll tell you what it is for me. What it is for me is as soon as they're in control, I believe that every manager should be given a certain period, a certain time to improve and show us what it is that their philosophy is. And there is a certain time it gets to a point where you're like, well, it's not working, you've got to go, and I get that. But with Thomas Tuchel and why I don't understand it, it's not, for me, it's not, when I talk about it, it's not from an emotional part of me. Even though I like Thomas Tuchel, I like the guy. It's more of, for me, it's more of the business side of it in what he's doing. In terms of like the players that he's, trying to bring in terms of trying to amend the squad that he's trying to make, that he said he was going to make us a beast, which he said when he first came through the door. It's being given the time to do that. And 5 games into a new season, after getting rid of all of the old guard, after asking him to step up, which maybe he didn't, which we're not sure on if he did or didn't, and that might have pissed off the owners. But getting the players that we did in, which he obviously did want, we're being told, and then getting rid of him, it's in such a short space of time. That's what don't make sense. Yeah, there's no. That's what. It's not that I'm emotional. I'm looking at it from a bit. I say business, but like from how is he meant to be successful or be able to show us what it is that he's trying to do if we're just going to have a switch off button all the time with every manager?
And real quick, just to echo Jim's point, for me, when you look at it, Jim, the reason why this actually hurts more is it's not about the manager. When Lampard got sacked, I could name 15 managers that were better than Lampard and that we could got right then and there. I look at our club right now, the sanctions we just came off, the downward spiral we've been heading, not saying that all the same players, a lot of players who failed under Lampard's era. And then on top of that, you're telling me sacking this manager 5 games into the season is going to have us competing more consistently for leagues?
Nope.
Guys,
Come on, man.
I don't think it's just that.
Jim.
Cut and dry. I think it has a lot to do with just personality types, man. You know, truly, you don't make that sort of like rash decision, you know, without having like a real falling out, like where you just like, I just can't work with this guy anymore. Like you just spent 270 million pounds. You know what I mean? Like,
what bust up could you have where you forget about 270?
Jim, let me make a point, please.
Go on, mate. Let's go.
I think the players not wanting to play for him was the reason why Tuchel got sacked, in my opinion.
I don't necessarily disagree with that or agree with that. It's a weird thing. Like I feel that certain individual players that we already know that were there that didn't want to be there are obviously going to affect the squad rhythm. We all know that. We know who they are. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's also Mason Mount playing in a pivot, which he shouldn't be, and you could tell by
he's not a 6.
And the fact that he took off Aspie last night and he put it on Hakim Ziyech instead of putting on Chalobah was a little slap in Chalobah's face.
They're the things that he has to take responsible for. I'm not saying he's an angel, that he hasn't done anything wrong. He has to take responsibility for them actions. Yeah. And when he come out yesterday after the game and said that he takes responsibility, that he needs to do. I even said, I think he said something like in the lines of like he needs to look at it, sit down with them, and maybe look at something different. Like in them, not in them, but he was as if to say like I got it wrong in many ways. Tells me that potentially maybe we could have seen something different with him, with the squad, or maybe that conversation.
But then that's not the first time he said it, though, Jim. That's not the first time he said it, though, Jim. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, and I want to reiterate this guy. I don't want anyone coming from my head. I was the same guy coming after every last Tuchel out on Twitter and on this stream. I'm just saying, when you look at it objectively, that isn't the first time I've heard Tuchel say something along those lines. And every single time he tries something new, just how it ends up like last night. It ends up like Mount in midfield. For me, I feel like whenever he tries something new, what we as fans always see, there's always something just not exactly right about it. Like there's Ruben in midfield this time, like, oh, what the hell is this something new? Or it's a fullback and there's another player in the wrong position. You've got Mount at right wing again. There was always something just not so right about it. And again, you will see it's even more disjointed than the 3-pack we from the whole time. Every single time Tuchel, in my opinion, has tried something new, we always end up saying we should have stick with the back 3. We're not ready for this. We're not ready for that change.
But that's the thing. How can Tuchel implement his style if Tuchel never got an actual season to experiment with his build of the team?
Yeah,
he never got a check, bro. Pep and Klopp got, and I'm not using this comparison because we know how things have to go to get these types of situations, but they got 3 years minimum. Klopp coming in 6th, 5th, and what the fuck was the other one? I think finally got 4th. They bought Alisson, Van Dijk, and all of them. Then Pep first season wasn't even in the top 5. Next season, Pep, he's going to get his shit together. So my point I'm saying is, this isn't about Tuchel. This is why I am fearful for my club. If we are not going to allow any manager, and it's been this way since Mo, if we're not going to allow managers the time to build a team in this modern day of football, which is what you need to beat City. I think forgive me for the man's name. He starts with a K. He said that earlier. He said, "I want to be competing with Pep." The only way you're competing, thank you. The only way you're competing with Pep or Klopp is by building a team, brother. This,
yeah, but you know, there's a better example. Do you know
I
there's a better
disagree
example
because
of
we
that?
beat.
You know, there's a better example of than Pep and Klopp. Look at Arteta. Look at Arteta. Where
please, bro. Arteta has been in the job longer than Tuchel. I can't take it.
Look how long he's been there, and look how bad it's been for them.
Yo, Jem, let me make a point here. Let me make a point.
And look at what he done this season with the players
Jem.
that he brought in and what they're doing now. You know, that is because he was given time, man. You know, Matt, that's what you're saying.
The reason why we struggle in the back four is because we don't have the players that suit the back four. We lack creativity from the attack and we lack creativity from the midfield. That's why we struggle in the back four.
But then we struggle with that same thing in the back three.
Though.
And then the
Exactly.
tactically, the way in which we moved, it to me, it screamed lethargic. And for me, I love Tuchel to the bone, man. But I can say, I feel like it's a combination of the two. Because when you play,
of course,
I feel like, well, I'm not saying that Tuchel has all he needs to exact his plans.
Exactly.
But at the same time, I'm
100%.
saying you should be able to do more than bringing out your players on the pitch. And like, there was times when I feel like Thiago would see, maybe I can loop that ball in all the way to the attacker. But nah, man, Tuchel said no, so I'm gonna sit back. I'm gonna pass it left. I'm gonna pass it right.
No.
I don't make that mistake and then get.
This is.
Done in by
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Done in by people.
But this is the point you brought up, and I just want to ask you this really quick. I'm sorry for interrupting because it's something that no one has touched on in this show.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to, as a fan base, and it's going to be straight opinions because no one's really going to know.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the tactics that are failing us in the final third, or is it the players? And let me say one thing.
It might be a bit of both. It might be both.
Thank you. Because what I'm saying is, in that game against Dynamo, how many times was Kovacic, Mount, acres of space in the midfield, pockets behind the defense? They can't thread a single through ball to Aubameyang. Sterling.
Yeah.
Look at this. Sterling, our combination play gets us to the box. We have 4 attackers in the box. Havertz, Aubameyang, Mount, and James. Why does Sterling come into the box, dribble all the way up, and lose the ball out for a goal kick? You're telling me that is on Twitter?
Yeah, do you know what? Do you know what as well? Do you know what I say though? I feel like at parts of it though, there was times where there was like literally I saw Raheem ping like slingshotting back and forth to ping. He was like, you know what, fuck it, man, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm tired. And you just come into the midfield and start building up because he knew if he kept making those runs in behind, no one's looping that ball over. And Joe made it even more depressing after that Dinamo Zagreb game finished. I literally, not even 30 minutes later, opened up a stream, opened up my BT Sports, watched the flipping PSG game, and I felt so depressed because in 5 minutes, they looped the ball over the top of Mbappe and he pinged it in the back of the net.
Guys,
I need thing we would have needed to do.
Listen, I'm gonna say this last thing because I've got to shoot as well. But when it comes to the new manager, I'll back it. I'll back it. Whoever it is that they choose, I'm gonna give him the opportunity to show us. And again, the big word I keep saying here is showing us. And to show us means you have to give these guys time. And I hope Todd Bowley and Egbali understand that if Thomas Tuchel wasn't, let's just say he wasn't their long-term manager. Let's just say maybe they felt he wasn't the ideal person behind the scenes, yeah? But they feel that Graham Potter in the long run is the guy, yeah? Then we need to see it. And the vision from Tuchel leaving now to whoever we get in and what we do for the next couple of seasons under this manager, yeah, and how quick we get rid of some of these deadwoods and whatever that's still left or not his players, yeah, it's going to be key. And I want to see how we play in games. I want to see where the improvement is, if he plays players in positions. I want to see the vision of what the manager of the owners saw in the manager that they're going to recruit now, and how he does, and if he's given the time, because it's going to be key. Is he going to be given the time to do it? So let's see what happens. Is all I'm going to say on that, guys. But on that note, I do need to finish off. Big up to every single one of you guys. There's still over 950 of you guys here as well. Make sure that you're smashing the like button, subscribing to the channel as well. Both GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV. We've got over 500 likes on Chelsea Fan TV on this show. Over 1,000 people on there as well. Big up to every single one of you guys. GNA TV, let's get this over 250 likes if we can as well, guys. Big up to every single one of yous. Jay, Couch, Callie, Showtime. It's been a crazy show. It's been an interesting show, but we will be doing a show once the new manager is announced. We will do
Can I sing us out in honor of Thomas Tuchel one last time?
Potter, he has the magic. From Brighton
No.
to the bridge, he has the magic.
You're gonna like this one. We've got Super Tommy Tuchel. He knew exactly what we need. Fafana in the back, Aubameyang attack. He got sacked after winning the Champions League.
Yeah,
I'm missing Tuchel. Oh God, it's cold. It's raw right now. I don't pray for Chelsea. Everyone that's a Chelsea fan, pray for Chelsea. I'm being dead serious. You're not ready for it.
Tweet no to Poch. Get it trending now.
Yeah, no Pochettino, man. I can't be doing that. Anyway, peace out, guys. See you again very soon, and we'll be back again soon. Yeah, take care.
Take care.